Welcome back, everyone, once again to a new installment of Screenplay Rewind. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Ron.
How's it been going, bud?
Oh, still sick. Again.
Dude, you say sick as if like you were ever in a different state. That's your natural state. Like the out of the ordinary thing is if you were like, "Hey, bro, I'm healthy right now." I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Have you ever played as one of the undead in World of Warcraft? That's what I feel like, is the way they look.
I play as one of the undead every day. That's just how I feel when I have to force myself out of bed with an alarm for work. It's just like, yeah. I just want to crawl back into my fucking crypt, be left alone.
Yeah, the other day, I dragged my ass out of bed. So, I have sciatica, for one, and the worst thing you can do is not move. That makes it worse. And then the worst thing you can do when you're in pain is not move. You have to, like, force yourself to do stuff, and it works itself out. Otherwise,
forcing myself to do stuff.
Otherwise, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So I've been feeling bad. I've been sick. And it's one of those where it's not like I'm running fever and feeling trashy. I have a little bit of a sore throat, and I am constantly tired no matter how much I rest, which is the worst feeling. Because you rest, and then you wake up and your brain's alert, but your body still just has no energy.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
So my sciatica for the last few days has been out of control, and I peeled myself out of bed painfully, hobbled in there, got the kids up the other day, took them to school, came home, went back to bed, slept the entire time they were in school, peeled myself up again, went and got them, and then at like 8:30 at night, I went to bed, and I was there until all the way to the next morning, until time to get up at 6 o'clock. And after that, I was like, man, my back hurts, but I feel a fuck ton better after all that sleep. Like, I just slept it off. Like, most of it is gone. I feel like 90% myself today. I've been going through for a few walks in the neighborhood, and I can like bend and move my back now, and things are cracking and popping. So I'm getting there, man. I'm coming back from the dead slowly.
You know what really grinds my sciatica?
Oh, that's exactly what it feels like.
I'm trying to get myself out of the never-ending habit, the vicious cycle.
Family Guy quotes?
That's never gonna stop. South Park quotes. Family Guy quotes.
Oh my God, they're eating Asian reporter Trisha Takanawa. Why? Let us be hungry again in an hour. It's so bad.
Now that I can watch my Steven Seagal movies.
It's such a terrible and racist joke, and I laugh at it every time.
Yeah, it's a solid joke.
The Steven Seagal thing, though, I can never get out of it.
The Steven Seagal thing is just the fucking best.
You cannot mention Steven Seagal's name without me just hearing Joe screaming in my head and a pregnant Bonnie flying out of bed.
Good song.
He's like beheading penguins with his bare hands.
He's doing the Seagal neck break, because that was like the Seagal signature was like the casual fucking neck break or the casual arm break. That's like all Seagal ever did. I have seen a stupid amount of Steven Seagal movies.
Oh, me too.
I have seen probably all. I think I have seen every Seagal movie and every Van Damme movie because of my dad.
Yep, and, same here.
Yeah.
What's funny is some of the Van Damme ones are still pretty cool and badass, and some of them are just kind of like, I can now enjoy this ironically. I enjoyed it legit as a kid, and I can enjoy it ironically. Every Steven Seagal movie is ironic now.
Well, you know what the difference between them is yes, they were always the same type of action movie, but at least Van Damme would do like changes in the genres.
Yeah,
like there'd be sci-fi one, like one of them is like there's like time travel. Cop. You want Universal Soldier. All that ever changes in a Steven Seagal movie is the location of where he's breaking arms or breaking necks. Dude, it's like, is he breaking the necks of guys on a train? Are they on a plane? Is he breaking penguin necks? Is he breaking penguin necks in the Arctic? That's all that ever changed. So they're really bad.
Oh my God. Wasn't Van Damme the bad guy in one of the Expendables? The one with the not Chris Hemsworth, I think.
The not Chris Hemsworth, the inferior Hemsworth.
Yeah, Hemsworth B.
Kmart brand Hemsworth.
No, he's a legit Hemsworth. He's just the on sale Hemsworth.
Oh, yeah. So Chris isn't returning our calls. Okay, call Liam, please. Thank you. He'll answer.
At least when people are scanning, when they're reading about the movie and they're just scanning lightly, they'll see the name Hemsworth.
There's like a third Hemsworth too, who was in like Westworld, and they had him as an in joke in Ragnarok. I think. Why are there so many fucking Hemsworths?
I don't know.
That's got to be, they're fucking multiplying.
Are they the fucking bald ones? Are they the 2020 bald ones?
Maybe, but
because there's like 18 bald ones.
Most of the bald ones are scum of the earth, though. At least the Hemsworths are pretty chill, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, only one of them can really act, but yeah, they're all pretty fucking chill, it seems.
Yeah, they're at least they're pretty chill. Like they got that going.
But hey, you know what? They're all working, Jeff. It's more than you and I have ever done in the business.
That's true. That's true.
That's half the battle.
Yeah, that's more power to them, man.
Yeah,
you go Hemsworth gang.
They're laughing all the way to the bank as we're making fun of them.
It's just gotta suck though, from the perspective of your brother is so fucking famous that you know, like there's like a party you're going to, it, like word gets out there's a Hemsworth going to the party, and everyone gets excited because they think Thor's gonna show up with fucking Mjolnir. But nah, it's I don't even know the name of the third one from Westworld, and I've seen almost every season from Westworld. He's just fucking Chris Hemsworth's brother, dude. I don't fucking know.
Is he Chris Hemsworth's brother, or is he Liam Hemsworth's brother?
He's Liam Neeson's brother.
Right.
That's where your every time you start a sentence with Liam, my brain also goes to Neeson.
How big is it? There's a joke one other person gets.
Yeah. That's probably my shining moment, is getting a Liam Neeson joke on the Hollywood Babylon podcast. I forget what the joke was,
but I haven't gotten one.
I forget what the fucking joke was, and I would have to re-listen to all 500 episodes to find it, and then still not know, unless they still have them logged on the website and they're not anonymous. So that joke is just lost to time, dude. I don't fucking know what my joke was. Oh, Jesus.
What we're talking about?
Speaking of podcasts, aren't we supposed to record one?
Yeah, when do you want to get that started?
Yeah, I'll get around to it eventually. I'm feeling like I'm not really a Chris today. I'm more of a Liam, so I'm just kind of like phoning it in and just you know.
So it's not just that your brother is Chris Hemsworth. It's also Chris Hemsworth is so fucking charismatic. You know, like that's why he's so charming as Thor in the comedy versions, right? From Ragnarok on. It's because he's just so fucking charismatic.
He's one of those people that it's not fair to be that good looking and also have talent.
Yeah, right? Henry Cavill.
Like Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds, like why all these attractive motherfuckers also get to have talent, dude? It's not fair.
What's not fair is Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Like, come on. One of you should be ugly, okay? That's the only way we can balance this out.
Do the kids, because like two positives equal a negative or whatever math thing, I don't know, are the kids just like hideous?
The kids are Quasimodo. Dude, like, I get the feeling that if Blake Lively can stay with Ryan Reynolds that long, because I feel like he's the type of guy that can't turn it off. He's just always Ryan Reynolds. She has to be cooler than she seems, right?
Probably.
Because she always plays these almost regal type performances, right? Every time, like, she doesn't really do like a lot of comedies or anything. She's always like very like straight and serious in everything that she does. And then she's married to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Well, what was that shark movie she was in? I actually always wanted to watch that shark movie because it was apparently really good. The Shallows. Did you ever see The Shallows that she was in?
The fuck are you talking about? What shark movie?
You don't remember the Shallows movie she was in? It was like her stranded next to like a shark. I don't know the full extent. That's literally all I know about it.
Now that you said that, yes, I remember.
I'm just surprised you didn't know that because like I remember seeing that trailer for that movie on fucking everything for an entire goddamn year back when it was coming out.
I've never seen this movie.
It apparently is good, and I always meant to get around to seeing it and just forgot about it.
Huh.
Was just curious if you had, because I know you love your fucking shark movies.
Yeah, I love me a shark movie. No, I have never seen or heard of this movie.
You probably saw trailers for it, and it immediately got deleted from your brain, because you have to keep space for your Family Guy quotes, and your South Park quotes, and your Dark Souls references. You know?
Yeah, I hate this character here. Anyone that is surfing with a GoPro on top of their head can go fuck themselves.
They deserve to get eaten by the shark.
The shark should get them first.
The shark has earned that GoPro. Like, he's gonna have some sick fucking YouTube videos that go viral, dude. It's gonna be amazing.
Can you imagine the footage when the shark vomits that camera up? Hang on, is that how they do those scenes? There's a still image of Blake Lively holding the GoPro looking at herself, and then I don't know if this is the director or what, also has his hand on the camera to help her steady it as she's in the water. That's interesting.
I have no idea.
I've never considered there might be someone off camera also holding the camera with them. Dude, that would be an exhausting job in Cloverfield.
Oh my god. They probably killed a couple people doing it.
This is the most terrifying image I've ever seen. Hang on. What happened to my fucking... Oh, I'm in the wrong...
Great radio.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the wrong app. I had to use Chrome because my Firefox keeps crashing for some reason. So I don't have my right-click screenshot like I'm used to having. What is the... I can't remember the fucking Windows shortcut.
Oh god, I used to know it. I can't remember it.
Right? Well, it auto-completed in Google. Is it seriously Windows print screen?
That would make a lot of sense now that you mention it.
Well, what do you know? I just took a screenshot. It is.
Are you uploading it to the Discord? I'm on the edge of my seat.
The problem is, though, it didn't give me a selection, so it's both my monitors. I forgot about that.
Okay. Oh, fuck. That's a lot of jellyfish, dude.
Right? Now, where is this movie? Hang on. Just watch.
It always makes me laugh when you see one of the, whether it's on like a computer at a store or like a TV, but they have like the rotating wallpapers. And there's always in the collection an image of 1,000 jellyfish. And it's supposed to be like awe-inspiring or relaxing or whatever the fuck you're supposed to have these like background images to be. But I'm just shitting my pants, dude, because fuck that, dude.
Oh, they want money for this movie. Hey, people who like this also liked Crawl. I liked Crawl. Maybe if I liked Crawl, I like this.
Yeah, we'll have to watch this at some point and see if it's worth having on the show, because I've been genuinely curious about it. We
should do a double feature with Crawl.
Ooh. Yeah, I only saw Crawl at the theater that one time, so it'll mostly be like a brand new movie again, and I really liked it.
Dude, I took you to that movie expecting it to be like, oh, this is going to be fucking stupid. It's going to be awesome. I genuinely like Crawl.
It was intense. Like they shot that movie really well, I thought.
Yeah, it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah. It's a silly premise on paper, but they execute it really fucking well.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the thing. It's a really well done movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Don't we usually have like comments and questions around this time of the show? I think we skipped past that because we were just like meandering. Do we got any comments?
We got a couple of comments on the YouTubes, on your tubes, Jeff. We have a couple of comments.
Okay.
Bobby says that Scott Pilgrim should be a watch along. If we do Scott Pilgrim, we should do it as a watch along. I might agree with that.
Watch along as in like a commentary, or watch along as in
I think like what we used to do online.
What we used to do on Twitch. You want to do that for like episode 100 in some capacity, or like some type of special?
By the way, that's fucking close. This is what, 93?
because we're gonna be even closer after the friends and family stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna be at like 97 or 98 by the time that's done.
So I don't think we've talked about it yet officially on the show, but we're gonna be doing our friends and family selections, where we are subjected to God knows what. We're gonna be doing that again the month of April.
Well,
so
I know one of them.
Are we locking that in, I guess, as the first one? Because I don't think anyone else has submitted yet. I think that's the only one so far that's been locked in.
If she's the first one to submit, then I know I will be when I watch the movie.
So we'll have one more. Based on the calendar, I believe we will have one more selection from me to close out March, and then April will be jumping into friends and family. So we will be announcing Chris's selection after the end of the next episode. So I am terrified and excited because usually we get something that's legitimately good, like Memories of Murder last year, that kind of catches us off guard. And it was one of the best movies I saw last year. Was Memories of Murder. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. 5 out of 5 jump kicks. You can't go wrong with that movie. And then you get Tammy and the T-Rex.
I can't walk past a fucking rice field ever again, Jeff. All the rice fields that I have to walk past on a daily basis just terrify me now.
Now, are you terrified because there's a serial killer, or because you might get jump kicked by any member of society because everyone over there is just a master jump kicker?
Oh, dude, the fucking drop kicks in that movie.
There's a lot of drop kicks, like
more than a Steven Seagal movie.
Nah, see, he would drop kick them into a neck break. That's the Seagal wombo combo.
Oh. And then I don't remember what we said, but Bobby left a second comment. Wait, you've seen me in the brushes? Okay, time for a new hiding spot.
I have no idea what that is in context.
That was 2 weeks ago, and I don't listen to our show.
Does he think it was Bobby the serial killer in Memories of Murder? Shit, dude.
Yeah, it's him. It's him in those rice fields.
It's him.
I know it's got a different name. I just can't think of it. I keep wanting to say Paddock, but that's where they keep the T-Rex. So I can't. I know it's not.
I'm so curious what he was like. That's the best about going back to old comments where they have lost all of their context. Because I don't know about you, and I think this is the way with most people who do like podcasts and stuff. I forget everything I say as soon as it leaves my mouth. It's just gone.
Yeah.
I can't remember shit. I was listening to a Watch Out for Fireballs or one of the podcasts on Duckfeed, and Gary was saying like how people will tweet a response to a joke he made, like a prior. He's like, I don't fucking know what I said. It's it's gone.
Well, that guy also does like 19 podcasts, so
that's true. I don't know how
he does about as many or more than Kevin Smith at this point.
Well, the difference is I think Gary and Cole take time to sleep. Kevin Smith is just always podcasting. He just never stops. True. Yeah, he doesn't need sleep. He just functions on weed. That's all he needs.
Here's one I'm curious about. Spinach. Here, I was looking through, because you said that, I scrolled through Bobby's old comments. And 6 months ago, he said because of Ron, the Germans are plotting world domination again. I thumbs up it. I just don't remember what the context was.
Oh, you remember that? It was on your vacation when you're
I
huge...
hope you joke. That's right.
Yeah, your whole run-in with the guy who's plotting your destruction to this very day. You created your own Bond villain over some hot dogs or whatever it was you were eating at the thing. I forget what you were eating.
It was a fucking hot dog. Hot dog and a cheeseburger. Oh, I forgot all about that.
That was your story from your vacation. How the fuck do I remember that, but not you, Ron?
I forgot all about that because I'm a dick to everyone, Jeff.
That's actually accurate. Also, you've been having trouble sleeping, and I feel like the quickest way to forget fucking everything you do day in and day out is have a bad sleeping schedule, because it just amplifies how shitty humans are remembering shit in the first place. So I can't fault you for too much. No, like the fucked up thing is how clearly I can remember shit I did 10 years ago. but something we talked about on like 2 weeks ago on our podcast is gone.
Do you ever
remember it again?
Do you ever just randomly doing whatever, and then something pops in your head from like when you're in high school, and you're like, "Oh, that's what they meant," or "That's what they were." That's what they that's what they were trying to say, or like something, or like someone insulted you to your face, like just in passing, and you didn't catch it, and then like 20 years later, you're just standing there in the kitchen, like, wait a minute.
Like, the thing that my brain does is, hey, here's that embarrassing thing you did in 5th grade. Have fun. I know. I'm just like, what the fuck, brain? Can't you just like not be a dick for once? Like, I don't need to know how that awful date in high school went right now. I don't need a refresher on that, like, come on, man.
Yeah, I was pretty bad in middle school and high school, and like some shit that like I just don't want to think about, like shit that I've said and done just pops back into my head. I'm like, thanks. Yeah. Now I'm gonna sulk about that for the rest of the day.
You ever think back to like when you were not like to the degree of, like it being dangerous or anything, but just being a bully to other kids, and you feel so shitty about it? It's like, man, I just want to go back in time and kick my 4th grade ass.
Yeah.
It's like, you were a dick, dude. Like, that's not cool. Like,
yeah, I've got some stuff from elementary school even.
Me too. I have some memories of this podcast has gone in very, very dark directions.
It's therapeutic, Jeff.
It's there.
Just let it out, buddy. I'm here for you.
I appreciate that.
As are about 120 other people.
I will think back. I can remember the specific way that I bullied a kid.
Remember it like it was yesterday.
Unfortunately, yeah. I can remember like the specific ways I bullied some poor kid in like 4th grade. I'm just like, God damn it, dude. Why'd you have to go and do that? Like, just don't be a dick. But then it's like being sympathetic about that shows you've grown as a person. Maybe that's why your brain is doing that, because it's like helping you grow when you can evaluate.
Used to be a dick. Good job. Thanks, brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean.
I hear what you're saying, but I still feel bad for it.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, I wish I could just forget all the times I was an asshole to other kids in school, but then you also have to give yourself a little bit of slack, because you remember like fucking everyone was an asshole when they were a kid, because most kids are just monsters.
Kids are dicks, dude.
Kids are the worst. Yeah. Like, they can just be
They're
fucking
so
evil.
And they're so savage, and most of the time unintentionally.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh my God. But now, like, some of the stuff from like 4th grade that I remember is especially bad, because it's like, I didn't really understand what I was saying, and as an adult I do, and it's just like, right.
Yeah. Especially the age group that like you and I are in, where we were moldable teenagers near the beginning of the internet, and that is a terrifying time to think back on. Just not good for the human race at all.
Yeah. The internet.
So if you have any prompts or discussions for Ron and myself to make us sad about things,
if you have anything that you regret from 4th grade, please write in.
Tell us your darkest secrets in the YouTube comments, please.
And we'll discuss them next time.
And we'll discuss them freely, because we haven't grown as humans at all. And that is the Screenplay Rewind.
Promise.
There you go.
You know what popped into my head when you were saying that? Have you ever watched any amount of Bob Newhart show?
I might. Not very much.
I fucking love the Bob Newhart show. I used to catch it on TV Land. Well, Nick at Night first, and then it moved to TV Land.
Oh, Nick at Night. That's a name I've not thought about in a long time.
The saddest I've ever been is when I turned on Nick at Night one day, and it was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I was like, oof. I watched this show when it was new.
Can you imagine? You're Will Smith right now. You're scrolling through TV, and you stumble upon Nick at Night. And, you got like you got like a beer, you got like a stack, and you're just like, man, I'm gonna zone out to some oh shit, it's Fresh Prince, and you must. I wonder what
Lucy's up to tonight.
You must just feel like as ancient as goddamn Stonehenge when that happens, and
yeah. Well,
yikes.
Fuck, it wasn't even me on TV. And I felt that way.
Right.
But no, Bob Newhart's show, he had, so Adam West is applauded for this, but no one had it down the way Bob Newhart did. He had a bit in his, I can't remember if it was stand-up or sketch that he did before he had a TV show. He had a bit that he worked into the Bob Newhart show that he was fucking amazing at. And that is the one-sided phone call where you only get his half of the conversation. So he's a psychiatrist, and one of his patients is a hypochondriac. And he phones him at all hours of the day and night, sometimes multiple times in an episode. But he'll see him in his office, and then like later at some point, invariably the phone will ring and he'll answer it, and it's the hypochondriac, and he has these fucking hilarious conversations with him on the phone, and all you get is Bob Newhart's side, but you understand the entire phone call by the time he's done, and it's always hilarious. It's one of the oldest bits on that show. He does it like every episode, and it's never not funny somehow.
Nice. You'll have to find me a clip of that.
Yeah, I'll have to. There's a montage on YouTube or something. Oh yeah,
there's a montage for anything you can think of, man.
Dude,
on YouTube.
Before we move on back on the subject of Nick at Night, can I just say, Nick at Night is where I got my never-ending crush on Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Fucking love Mary Tyler Moore because I watched the Dick Van Dyke Show on Nick at Night, and then there would be like, I don't know, maybe some I Love Lucy would come on, and then like Bob Newhart, and then Mary Tyler Moore show would come on. So I'd get like younger and slightly older Mary Tyler Moore in the same night. I'd get two different shows with her on there, and I just fucking love her. The Mary Tyler Moore show was like one of the highest rated shows on TV in its time, but it is so underappreciated today, dude. That show is
still
good.
Hold up.
I think so. It's just a single woman trying to make it in a man's world in like the 70s.
Okay.
So like the whole premise of that show is so ahead of its time. Because like she's single, she's trying to get ahead in her career and make it on her own. Like, you know the theme song, you're gonna make it you're gonna make it after all and everything. Because it's in a time when it was thought, well, if you're not married, then you're just fucking dead in the street somewhere, right? Because you can't make it without a man. Like that's the whole thing the show was about.
That's pretty ahead of its time, like for a concept for a show back then. Because most of the time they were just doing the cookie cutter. Here is an overweight funny guy who has somehow miraculously landed like a gorgeous wife, and that's just your show. Like Family Guy was a parody of what was the formula for like 50 years of sitcoms, and it's like it took them 60 years to even realize that it was a formula, because people just accept it like as TV, and they still do this to this very fucking day. Like there's still fucking shows in that vein that aren't, parodies like Family Guy is. It's crazy.
Get this. It's Mary Tyler Moore, right? Ed Asner is her boss.
Love Ed Asner.
She works at like a news station, I think, if I recall. And fucking Ted Knight is the weatherman.
Nice.
Fucking dude, Ted Knight is fucking amazing in everything he does. I mean, of course, my favorite role of his is always Caddyshack, but Jesus Christ, man, he's so fun. He's the walk-on, like cut up, and then he like walks off. Kind of like Craig Ferguson. I just completely lost Craig Ferguson's name. Like if you watch the Drew Carey show, the way he just walks out of his office, has a few lines, and then goes back into his office and he's done. That was Ted Knight.
What's so fucking weird is like,
and Betty White and John Amos are in it too.
Nice. But the extent to which we're fucking drift compatible, because I was randomly thinking about the Drew Carey show because we were talking about sitcoms like 20 seconds before you mentioned it, and I was like, get the fuck out of my brain, dude. I have never been a huge sitcom person. I've watched them off and on, but I really dug the Drew Carey show. That was one I always watched a lot. Just got a lot of
my sitcom phase was entirely Nick at Night. Anytime I watch one of the modern ones, it doesn't do it for me. If it's a sitcom from the 60s or 70s, I'm into it. But I
is that where you watch like Get Smart and stuff?
Yes,
because I know you're a big Get Smart.
Oh, I fucking love the cone of silence every time. It's a stupid joke, and it's the same joke every time. I cannot not laugh. I still watch. There is a thing on YouTube that's just a handful of cone of silence jokes, and I can't not laugh at it. Apparently, Slim Pickens was in an episode of Mary Tyler Moore too, and his fucking IMDb photo is him from Dr. Strangelove.
That's great. That's great.
Well, that's a show we need to get on the fucking podcast. Is Dr. Strangelove? Have you ever watched that movie?
I've seen bits and pieces. I've actually never seen it all the way through.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
It seems like it'd be something up my alley that I'd like a lot. I've just never gotten around to watching all the way through.
I know how this is gonna sound.
Always a great way to start your sentence.
Right. It is smarter than Pink Panther. Pink Panther is almost everyone in the Pink Panther movie is like in on the joke. If you're not paying attention, the jokes will just pass you by in Doctor Strangelove.
I like movies that don't hold your hand like that.
Yeah,
so I'll probably like it a lot.
Now, like, the reason I said, I don't mean this how it sounds, like, I love the Pink Panther movies so much.
Me too.
But their goal was to be a Looney Tune, and they accomplished it. Doctor Strangelove is a very smartly written, almost, I guess not almost, but is basically a political satire. Like, it's it's 1960s nuclear age. Someone trying to start World War III. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we'll have to have it on the show at some point because I need an excuse to check it out.
I'll make it one of my picks at some point.
Nice. Yeah, always been around to get always meant to get around to watch it. Just
not that it's Slim Pickens around here. Thanks, everybody. You've been a great crowd.
And I think with that we have to end the show. So Dr. Strangelove will never be covered, and everyone have a good night. Oh shit! You want to talk about some Free Fire, dude?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Just real quick, if anyone has any prompts or discussions that they would like on the show for Ron and myself, just email us screenplayrewind@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter @SPRFilmcast, as long as that's a thing. Because if they ever actually make Twitter cost money, fuck Twitter. I'm actually gonna have to create a Blue Sky at that point. I am still on Twitter out of pure laziness. But as soon as they ever actually get around to making it cost money, they can all go fuck themselves. Goodbye.
Yep.
But yeah.
What are your feelings on Free Fire, Jeff?
It's just the fucking worst. I hate it. I just can't stand it. It has just one of the worst ensemble casts I think I've ever seen. It has absolutely, like, it's got that like cannibal dude. Like, who wants to see that? I don't know, man.
Dude, no, what a turn this movie would have made in the third act if Armie Hammer just started eating people. The camera just cuts over and he's just behind the van, fucking eating Chris or something. Not in the sexy way.
You don't want to see the crime scene in that version when like the cops show up in the third act and they just see shit like that would like scare the detectives in Seven. You know, you just don't want to see that, dude.
What I want is he just at some point turns and starts eating Vernon, and then it just turns into a Lovecraftian nightmare for the cops when they get there.
You see, you say Lovecraftian nightmare, and no matter what you say after that, I'm down. Like, I'm there. You sold the fucking ticket, dude.
Dude, I went out with Tina last night, and it was a goddamn Lovecraftian nightmare.
It was a goddamn Lovecraftian. That would be my autobiography, Lovecraftian nightmare. But
sweetheart, that could be the name of my autobiography.
Did you know that there is a fucking documentary about Armie Hammer's like shenanigans on HBO, and I have to watch it now because I found that out like yesterday.
You know what else is on HBO? The Last Witch Hunter.
The Last Witch Hunter. The case is you have to go after Armie Hammer because he's a fucking cannibalistic monster.
Oh, I'm gonna file that under references from text messages we had today, and no one else will get.
No, for real though. Did you know that there was an Armie Hammer documentary?
No, but it doesn't surprise me because HBO used to have really, really good documentaries, and now they still have some good ones, but they just crank them out now.
They have shit that's like it's barely been in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And it's a documentary out there. It's kind of like I respect the hustle, dude.
But what can they possibly say? Because some of those documentaries come out so fast, they can't possibly have any of the actual facts.
So it came out in 2022, which was like in the midst of I think the I forget. Did he ever actually like go on trial for it? No, I read a little bit about this when I was like stumbling through the Wikipedia page for this. Apparently people tried to like get him on trial for some of the shit, but
Armie Hammer, the true story about H.P. Lovecraft.
But the investigators from like the police side of things never found enough evidence to actually like prosecute him and shit.
But the damage was done.
The damage is done. Yeah, he apparently. I found out that apparently in like
shares.
Apparently in December he finally made a reappearance on social media. He like posted some really really esoteric bullshit on Instagram about like redemption quotes from fucking some other like religion. I don't know. He interesting career trajectory. Which also breaks my heart because I fucking love Armie Hammer in this movie. I love his character in this. He's so good.
You know what he reminds me of, ironically? Henry Cavill as fucking Napoleon Solo. Yes.
Yeah. It's so funny how Armie Hammer could have played either one of those roles perfectly in Man from U.N.C.L.E. Because Armie Hammer is fucking awesome. Dude, he just also happens to eat people. And it's such a shame.
This movie makes me sad that Armie Hammer wasn't in any of the Kingsman movies.
Oh, dude. There's a scene in this movie when he is fucking sideways blind firing John Wick style.
Yeah.
Like Armie Hammer went to like fucking boot camp to do some of this shit in this movie. It's such a shame. It makes me like I was watching this movie, right? And it made me so sad because I was just it's like I really really like this movie. It's a total blast. I love the cast. My favorite character in it is Armie Hammer's character, and I just think back to like Man from U.N.C.L.E. and The Social Network, and like I want to live in the alternate reality where Armie Hammer doesn't eat people, and I can see him continue to have a career because it's fucking devastating. Like I understand, like I'm not trying to like argue that he should still be working. Obviously not, but it's sad because as an actor, I did always really really like him, and he's great in this.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really seen him turn in a bad performance or phone anything in, you know?
It's also just one of those things where what could have been, like, he was going to be Batman.
Yeah.
In a fucking George Miller Justice League movie. Like, if you go down the path, if that movie had come out, and if that movie had been successful, he would have been, like, the craziest Elseworlds DC issue where Batman is a cannibal. It's like I would read that, you know. How can you not? Yeah. I feel like if you take a drink every time we talk about Armie Hammer eating people, you're just gonna be fucking dead by the end of this podcast. Because it's such the fucking elephant, the elephant in the warehouse. That it's super super sad. But I forget if we talked about it because if you see our earlier conversation, I forget everything I say as soon as I say it on here. What made you want to have Free Fire on the show?
Literally was scrolling through HBO and saw that they had added it, and I was like, "Oh man, I've seen that movie once, and I fucking love that movie."
This is the perfect type of thing. I love watching a movie, right, and really really liking it, and then circling back around to watching it again like 7 years later,
and
where
still
you forgot
fucking loving it.
Where you've forgotten most of it, so you get to like, because I had forgotten pretty much. I knew like the gist of it and the actors and their characters, but I completely forgot the way that the movie plays out as far as like what characters make it and everything. And man,
I think the thing
this movie's awesome.
The thing I think I appreciate the most about it is like Fury Road set out to create an entire movie out of a single chase scene.
Uh-huh.
And Free Fire set out to do that out of a single shootout scene.
Yeah, like a single stalemate action sequence. The simplicity of the movie is astounding. And the fact that it's never... I think the cast being as good as it is like, obviously there's good dialogue and there's some pretty good like jokes in it and everything, but like the actors really have to carry this, because on paper this should get boring like pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, but man, I think it's a blast. I love the pacing of it. Per usual, if your movie is only like 90 minutes, you immediately get a 2-star increase in rating from me.
Right.
Because I love movies that don't have,
and
like,
there's
that don't
no
dick around.
fat on this
Not at
movie
all.
in the context of like, these people are all affiliated with someone, and we never find out who. We never have to find out any background, any characters. We know nothing about anyone by the end of the movie. We know as much going out as we did going in, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's great. So obviously we're gonna get into full spoilers for Free Fire. This is a movie. Is this the most Guy Ritchie movie to not be directed by Guy Ritchie that you've ever seen?
That's exactly what I was gonna fucking say. This is in the vein of Rock and Rolla.
It really is. Like this. If I lived on an island and I had no idea, I didn't have access to like a phone where I could look up on IMDb who had made this, if it hadn't been Guy Ritchie, I would have been like shocked, because it is such a Guy Ritchie movie through and through.
This has to be inspired by Rock and Rolla, right? This is like 8 years after Rock and Rolla.
I think it is. So there's like a subtle reference to Pulp Fiction later on. What I think this is like 80%.
I feel like every time we come up with the briefcase, it is the fucking Pulp Fiction.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's like 80% Guy Ritchie and then like 20% Tarantino. It's very Guy Ritchie and also very 90s specifically era Tarantino, like Reservoir Dogs, and it has a lot of Reservoir Dogs energy to it, as far as like there's some fucked up shit happening, but there's always like an air of comedy about like it's a dark comedy at times with it, you know, and that's very Reservoir Dogs as well, but mostly Guy Ritchie. Like, fuck.
I think because of his demeanor and stuff, I think Cillian Murphy is my favorite character in this.
I love Cillian, dude. I am so happy that Oppenheimer exists to where Cillian Murphy can start getting more leading roles.
Well, he's also buddies with Nolan, isn't he? So that makes sense.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy has been just crushing it for 25 years, but he's always the supporting character until like, you know, obviously like Peaky Blinders happens. But I'm talking about like movies, you know, like I'm so happy that like he'll probably get the Oscar for Oppenheimer, and it's really going to launch him into getting more leading roles. And
I think the first time I remember him being like a main guy was Red Eye.
He's so fucking good in that movie, dude.
He's so good. He's so good in everything, but he's real good in Red Eye.
I love the shifts in that movie. Like, did you remember that's a Wes Craven movie, by the way? Red Eye?
Is it really?
It's a Wes Craven movie. Like,
I've seen that movie once, and I don't remember a goddamn thing about it. I just remember Cillian Murphy killing it in that movie.
Yeah, he's awesome. Well, we'll have to throw it on this show, because it makes for very interesting conversation for this show, because it does a lot of the stuff that you and I really appreciate.
He was always someone that I knew. I always knew his name, but I fucking started looking for him in movies after Red Eye. Like, after Red Eye, I was just like, give me all of Cillian Murphy, dude. Oh my god, him as Jonathan Crane.
What a great fucking casting choice, too. Like, I love Cillian Murphy so much. Have you watched Oppenheimer yet, by the way?
Have you watched Oppenheimer? It's Christopher Nolan. I don't know.
So I have also been on the anti-Nolan train for the last couple of movies, for the most part, mostly because of Tenet. Oppenheimer is really good. Oppenheimer is really strong.
The closest I've come to watching it was Stephen Colbert had Christopher Nolan on, and anytime they have this running gag since Colbert's old show, where anytime Nolan comes on, the intro to the show is always some parody of Christopher Nolan's movies. And they did an Oppenheimer parody with Colbert as Oppenheimer staring into the pond, nice. Monologuing to himself. And it starts raining. And there's a point when he's monologuing to himself. He's just like, hey, can you stop it with the rain? And it cuts to off camera. And Christopher Nolan is just standing there with a garden hose. And he's like, oh, sorry. And he turns it off. And then he goes back to monologuing, and then Nolan just shoots him in the face with it, and he chases Nolan off.
So my main selling point for Oppenheimer and why I think that it gets a little bit back on track to some of like Nolan's older movies.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy obviously he's gonna get the Oscar for it, and it's so deserved because he's fucking incredible in that movie. But Nolan gets out of his own way and just lets the actors carry the movie. You know, there isn't this like specific trick to it. There isn't this like.
So he pulled his head out of his ass.
He did because
for this one time.
Right. The next movie is gonna be fucking like he's gonna be like back on his laws of averages. It's gonna be obtuse and
Thank
stupid.
you, Andrew Lincoln.
But
it's like the only thing I remember from The Walking Dead.
Right.
Was the law of averages episode.
But Robert Downey Jr. and Cillian Murphy, and if you haven't seen the full cast list for Oppenheimer, it'll blow your fucking
Robert Downey
mind.
Jr.'s in it?
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is one of the main characters in that.
I didn't know that. He's not in like any of the trailers.
That's because they have too many fucking actors in that movie, dude. Like, have you
but
hold on.
You put Iron Man in your movie and you don't put him in the trailer?
He probably is in the trailer, but he has a totally different appearance because they made him look like the actual person that he was playing. But he's fucking amazing in that. I'm pulling up this fucking cast, dude. We'll get back on Free Fire in a second, but you just have to see like the fucking cast. Okay, are you ready? Okay, Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Alden Ehrenreich, Jason Clarke, James Darcy, Kenneth Branagh. Scroll back through. Josh Hartnett, Alex Wolff, the older son from Hereditary. Fucking Florence Pugh. It's Matthew Modine. Matt Damon,
my God,
Jack Quaid, Benny Safdie from Good Time.
How expensive was this movie?
See, that's the thing. From what they've Rami Malek is in it. Olivia Thirlby.
Rami Malek was expensive.
Olivia Thirlby. Do you remember the rookie from Dread? She's in it. Casey Affleck, James Remar. Dude, it's fucking bonkers. And Gary Oldman is in it.
Jesus Christ, where does it end?
It's crazy, and it
sounds like he just inceptioned all of his movies into one.
Right?
It's like the Dark Souls 3 of Christopher Nolan movies.
The weird thing is the one person who has been in like every Nolan movie, Michael Caine, is not in Oppenheimer unless he's like uncredited. But yeah, I don't remember seeing him. He's like the one. Yeah, it's fucking bonkers, dude. So he actually kind of like pulled his head out of his ass, like you said, and the acting just carries the movie. And what it reminded me of, did you ever see Frost Nixon?
No.
So Frost Nixon is one of those movies where like on paper it shouldn't work, but the kind of pacing and like the editing and the performances kind of push the movie along. And even though Oppenheimer is long, like it doesn't really feel long, at least to me, just because you get sucked in by how good the actors are. Yeah, I really liked it a lot, and I'm glad for Cillian Murphy because he deserved to have this crazy like high profile leading role to kind of break out of, because he's always amazing. He just was always a supporting character.
I don't think
very rarely.
I could be wrong about this. I don't remember him winning anything for Peaky Blinders, but he got a lot of publicity for Peaky Blinders.
He's so good at Peaky. I need to get back on Peaky Blinders. I've seen the first.
I've never seen an episode.
You know who the antagonist is of the first season, right?
No.
It's Cillian Murphy versus Sam Neill, who is an investigator going after the Peaky Blinders. Damn it. It's so good.
God damn it.
It's so good. Ron's going to have to download and pay for Netflix again just to binge all Peaky Blinders.
We're probably going to get a month of Netflix here fairly soon. There's some stuff on there Chris wants to check out, and I know there's some stuff on there that I want to check out.
Watch Peaky Blinders. It's fucking good. More Cillian Murphy, more Sam Neill. You can't go wrong.
Dude, anytime Sam Neill is involved, I can't help myself.
Yeah, I fucking love that man. You want to go through the cast and crew real quick?
Yes, please. This is a who's who of either people that you had seen before that then got big, or people that were already big, right, or are fucking character actors you've seen from everything ever. Like, for sure. This cast is kind of nuts, dude.
It's kind of nuts.
It's kind of as cheap as you can have an ensemble cast. that everyone fucking knows.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Yeah, this is nuts. Real quick before we go into this, when was? Oh man, just 3 years after this, Brie Larson would become Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I'm curious how much the budget would be for this movie if you ran it back with the same cast in 2024.
You would have had the Scarecrow and Captain Marvel together.
The entire budget would have to be double just to afford Brie Larson, because after Captain Marvel, she's going to be demanding a shit ton of money. Cillian Murphy, fresh off of Oppenheimer, like double the budget just to afford Cillian Murphy. It's fucking nuts. Okay, so we have Sharlto Copley, who I fucking love so much.
I adore that man.
I don't know the logistics on this, but I feel like they had to have already casted Sharlto Copley before writing the script, right? Because no one else in the world could play that character. Like, it's Sharlto Copley.
That character is specifically written for that man.
Yeah, no one else could play that character.
And
Vernon.
I mean, look, no disrespect to the Vernons out there. That is the most Vernon I think I've ever seen.
My favorite line in the whole movie is where he tells Ord, who's Armie Hammer's character, excuse me, where he's like, watching Vern.
Yes, I heard that.
It's so good, dude.
Well, one of my favorite parts, and one of the reasons why Cillian Murphy's like just fucking, I'm sick of this shit. Like, I wasn't even supposed to be here today. Attitude is,
oh my goodness.
I think he gets grazed and then falls face first on the ground, just lays there. And fucking Frank is like, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "No," and doesn't move.
Oh, the way he delivers that line is so good.
He's just like, "No."
Dude, the line delivery for pretty much everyone is just perfect every single time.
Okay,
it's so fucking astounding.
Before we continue, that is one point I wanted to make. A lot of the times, it's not even the dialogue; it's the way it's delivered by everyone.
Yeah. Or the facial expressions that like Armie Hammer does. Dude. Where it just his level of I am just like, some of the people in the situation are scared to death, obviously, because they've never been in a fucking shootout before, but his whole I just want to get the fuck out of here because these amateurs are annoying to me.
Yes.
Like, I love his demeanor and I love like his character. And I love that they never really, like you said earlier, that they never really explain why he's such like a fucking John Wick badass. He's just a mercenary dude they've paid, who knows his shit. But they don't. I like that everyone is kind of left as almost like a stereotype, but in like a cool, kind of evocative way instead of like a cheesy, like lazy way.
Yeah, they're rather than a stereotype, they're all a particular crime movie archetype.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the archetype you've seen from every crime movie ever put in one movie. There is a moment in the movie where Brie Larson doesn't even say a single word. She just rolls her eyes on par with
Sharlto Copley.
Yeah, on par with Tony Stark. Like,
it's really good.
That eye roll was really good.
Yeah, it's when he's saying after the fight breaks out between Harry and Steve-O, and they figure out that he's going after him because he almost killed the dude's fucking cousin in a bar or whatever, and then Sharlto Copley says like, "I've never laid a hand on a woman," and then she's like, "Yes, I know you haven't." And then she does like the eye roll thing. It's really great.
He like turns around and she eye rolls, and he turns back around and she stops.
It's really good.
It's really good.
I'm a little bit hit or miss on Brie Larson. Just
I was going to ask when we got to her in the casting.
I like her in this movie a lot. I think she does a good job.
I haven't seen a ton of her stuff, but like, I love her in this. I love her as Captain Marvel, and I love her in Kong Skull Island.
I like her in Kong a lot. I am kind of indifferent on her as Captain Marvel. I don't like super dislike her or like her a lot. I think she's just kind of fine. Part of that is just the character she's playing, because I'm not a big Captain Marvel fan.
Yeah,
I think her character just in general is a little bit too Goku, as far as being overtuned as fuck to where like you're actually making other characters like pointless.
Well,
and I understand
Thanos
like
had to punch her with the Power Stone to get her off of him.
Yeah. Now it was all worth it for that fucking headbutt. The headbutt's fucking sick, dude. I love that scene. But just in general, as far mostly, so I like her as part of the Avengers movies. It was like her solo movie, or just kind of, I don't know. I don't like the first Captain Marvel movie as much as you do. I think you really like it a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like I think it's fine. I'm kind of in the middle on it.
I love that movie for a few different reasons, because I like one of the things that happens at the end, but the reason I love her as Captain Marvel is I'm not a big Captain Marvel fan either. I think in the comics that I've read, she's always better when she kind of shows up for a few pages and then leaves.
Yeah.
And in that context, she perfectly embodies that character, right? Like in the way that I know her, like the way that she shows up to battle the Hulk and the Immortal Hulk and stuff. Like she is fucking Captain Marvel right off of those pages, right?
She reminds me of the way I kind of view Superman. Is I like Superman more in a Justice League context, like as a cartoon, a lot more than as a solo character.
Though my one exception for that is anytime Christopher Reeve played the character.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve's pretty great.
I grew up on those movies, so
yeah. I get it. But it's just my preferred version is as part of like the ensemble.
Can you explain, other than just saying incels, the hate for Brie Larson to me? Is it because she's a confident woman who's successful? Like, what is it?
Okay, so there is a bit of some of this is like rumor mill. I don't know. I don't dive.
That's my favorite kind of mill. So
I don't dive a lot into the personal kind of interactions from actors. I mostly just try to focus on.
She's awful successful for the number of people that appear to hate her.
There's rumblings that she is awful to work with, and other actors can't stand her, and that's part of it. I don't know. Like I said, I typically do not look into stuff like that because I just want to view them as actors. I don't want to dive that deep into their personalities, because when you come right down to it, a lot of the actors you and I love are shitbags in real life because it's gone straight to their head. They have a huge ego.
Right.
But whatever.
I mean, if they didn't, they wouldn't get in front of the camera, right?
Exactly. But then you have other people who are like the nicest people in the universe. So it's a crapshoot. But that's literally all I've heard as far as why people dislike her. But I haven't dug into it very much.
See, I was curious if you had heard anything different because I had never heard that. I don't know. I've never looked into that either. I didn't even think to look into that. But what I always hear it associated with is any of the anytime like girl power on silver screen comes up, like the first name always tossed out is Brie Larson. And I'm like, okay, but I follow her on social media and I follow her fucking YouTube channel where she's like trying to cook like a vegan alternative to something and doesn't even know if it's going to work out. It's just her own recipe, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Or like she's showing her daily like workout routine where she could probably bench press me.
Dude. Yeah.
I think she's scared. And then if it's not that, it's her playing fucking Pikmin or Fortnite or something. And I don't know. Yeah. She seems cool to me, but I haven't heard if she's difficult to work with. That sucks.
I can't confirm or deny it. But
just,
also
from my limited experience with her, I'm like, I don't see the problem.
Now, anyone who specifically dislikes her for the way that she is in the Marvel movies, she is playing her character correctly because she is Super Saiyan Blue fucking Goku, man. You can't touch her. She is indestructible, and she comes across that way. She comes across confident because she should be fucking confident because she's fucking Goku, dude. Like, so she takes out the fucking spaceship in the Avengers movie in like a nanosecond. It's like me taking out like a fucking taco, dude. Like,
when me taking out a taco. Woo, what a choice of words talking about like sexism and stuff too. So what I thought of when she flew through Thanos' ship, my brain immediately flashed back to the opening to Sonic Unleashed. Supersonic does that to one of Robotnik's ships.
Nice.
And I was like, holy fuck, she Sonic the Hedgehog Thanos' ship.
Oh my god.
Here's an ironic thing. Based on my limited knowledge of the X-Men, I've been going through the 90s X-Men cartoon again. And if they had done that version of Rogue, she would be a good version of that Rogue, I think, on screen too. And the reason that's ironic is, if I recall correctly, in the comics, Rogue gets the powers that she does and is basically invincible the way she is, because she absorbed Captain Marvel, right?
Yes, there's actually an episode where they go into that, as far as including Captain Marvel, as far as how she, I think in the cartoon, now I don't know if it's the same as in the comics. It probably is, because they directly adapted a lot of storylines, but like Captain Marvel is like locked away in her brain or something. There's something along those lines happening. I haven't watched the episodes in a very long time.
That's the ironic thing, but she would have also been a decent like version of that Rogue, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I mean, which makes sense because she's Captain Marvel, so
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of half the same person.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't confirm or deny.
I think she does that with Gambit eventually. I think Gambit's like dying, and I think like her powers are, if she doesn't let go, she absorbs them completely, and the powers added are permanent, but like their consciousness is in her brain with her. So she's got like Captain Marvel and eventually Gambit rolling around in there.
Yeah.
But she does it to save Gambit's life, I think, or something. I don't remember. It's like the only way she could save him or something. I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't remember.
I can't fucking wait for that new X-Men cartoon, man. Did you know it's a 10 episode first season?
Oh, that's my favorite.
I love it. Dude. They're dropping the first 2 episodes together, and then it goes weekly up until like I think it ends in like May or something.
Jeff,
so I'm all about it. I
don't know if you've heard, but in the trailer, Gambit charges Wolverine's claws.
Wait, what? I'm gonna have to watch that. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Hang on. I know.
I'm looking at the Discord. I can see the image, and that's what you're gonna do.
No. But I was gonna tell you that episode when we uploaded last night in Soho to YouTube. So I've been lazy, and I just been letting it do the thumbnail because I just do a single image in every video, and it gives you the choice of 3 different thumbnails, but they're all the same because I just do one image. And I just click one of those and I'm done. I was like, okay, the first 30 minutes of this episode is the Wolverine Claws thing. And then the rest of that episode is actually the Last Night in Soho image I picked. So when it selects the 3 thumbnails, I'll just choose that and be done. All 3 of them were Wolverine. And I was like, God damn it.
Fuck yes, they were.
And I had to go in and make a thumbnail.
That's really funny.
Because I picked all 3 of them were Wolverine. I was like, God damn it, YouTube algorithm.
The YouTube algorithm was just, it was so distracted by those shiny pink claws, man. It's just like, no, I gotta do it.
It's like, here's an action-packed moment for you. Yes, it was, but that's not what I needed.
You actually created Skynet because you made the AI realize that Gambit charging Wolverine's claws is the coolest fucking thing that's ever happened to mankind. So it's like, oh, I'm sentient now. It's like, okay.
I wish they had kept that quiet like Kratos's fucking blades, whatever, the blades of chaos.
Yeah, but also that image broke the fucking internet. So to get them so much like publicity off of it, I can't blame them for that.
I know, but
yeah, it was.
Oh, but it's like, what have they not shown us, Jeff?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fucking awesome, dude. I can't wait. Also, they need to make a continuation of the Spider-Man cartoon as well, please. Thank you.
Please. Was that the head writer that said he's open to it?
I think you had sent me the tweet about that where it was like the showrunner or one of the writers or something was just like, all they got to do is call and I'm dead ready to continue. I was like, yes.
Oh, give it to me yesterday. I didn't even know I wanted it. Jeff.
As long as it's even half as good as that X-Men cartoon appears to be, like it would be fucking amazing because it's looking awesome so far. I can't wait. It's like, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks away. I'm gonna be watching that shit.
Spider-Man cartoon.
I'm gonna be watching that shit like as soon as it drops. Day one. I'm gonna be up at like 3 a.m. watching.
Are they 20-minute episodes?
I do not know that. I'm assuming they're probably gonna be in the realm of like 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's streaming, it's probably a solid 30. There's no need for cartoons or commercial breaks. I mean,
no need for cartoons.
No need for cartoons.
No need for cartoons.
Anyways, the cast.
We have Gambit. We have Gambit charging Wolverine's cause. There's no longer a need for any more cartoons.
This ended animation.
So here's a question for you, Rod. Do you ever think Armie Hammer will work again? As far as like,
I think he will.
I think he will too. I think it's just gonna.
He's gonna go down to the pub and wait for this to all blow over.
I think it's gonna be a hot fucking minute. But like hell, fucking Mel Gibson came back to work eventually. So it's like you can do some awful
and Mel
shit.
Gibson directed Hacksaw Ridge when he did.
Right?
I mean,
when you think
both of us were silent, really just thinking about that.
Just when I thought you couldn't get any stupider, you go do something like this.
And totally redeem
yourself. I think he will too. A lot of, from what I was reading, a lot of the reports surrounding all of his shenanigans were like there wasn't enough evidence to pursue criminal charges, so that is in his favor. But it's a murky fucking situation for sure. So we'll see. Yeah, he's my favorite character though. My second favorite character, really close to being tied for favorite, just because I love them both. Is Cillian Murphy as Chris. I love him. He's awesome in this.
He's so good.
Because of course he is. He's Cillian fucking Murphy. He is like Gary Oldman, where it doesn't matter what the movie is. He's giving you a fucking Oscar level performance.
He can be funny. He can be sarcastic. He can be serious. He can be dramatic.
He can do it all.
And I swear to God, you show me any picture of Cillian Murphy, and I'm like, yep, that's just Cillian Murphy. But somehow his facial expressions are different in every movie. But I swear to God, at the same time, he's got the same facial expression every time. I don't know how he does it. There's something about the subtle changes with his eyes when his character's being sarcastic or whatever. I don't know. Every movie he's in, he does so much talking with his eyes, even when he's not speaking.
Oh my, yeah, there's a lot of there is a scene in Oppenheimer that is just Cillian Murphy acting with his eyes. That it's like, just give him the Oscar. Just give it to him right now.
Well, every one of those trailers ended with his head not moving, just his eyes going from looking down to looking up, and then the trailer ended. And I'm like, you almost get me with that. You almost get me.
It's real good.
I know it's Christopher Nolan.
It's real good. That's the thing. It's Christopher Nolan, but he's like, I'm gonna go off searching for the bar. I'm gonna just go searching for the bar. I'm gonna beat James Cameron too. I'm gonna go search for it. You guys who are actors, you can just act for this like 3-hour movie. I'll back the fuck up and just let y'all go. There's no bullshit sci-fi concept that isn't as cool as you fucking think it is. Nolan, fucking Tenet, goddamn Tenet, dude. I'm never getting over how much I hate that fucking movie.
It's spelled the same way forwards and backwards.
Fuck you, Nolan. Fuck you and your goddamn protagonist.
I was gonna make a protagonist joke.
I can't. As if I wasn't salty enough about that fucking movie, the goddamn credits hits, and I'm like, thank God that's over. And the first name I see
the protagonist
is the protagonist, and I'm just like, where is the nearest bridge I can walk off of? Please. Fucking hell.
Well, ironically, that same actor did 21 Bridges. Is that the name of it?
I never saw that movie. I have no idea.
Wasn't it from the guys that did Endgame and Black Panther?
I think so. Is that the one that had like oh god, what's Finn's name? John Boyega. I think he was in that, and I think Anthony Mackie might have been in that.
I know Anthony Mackie. Well, I'm pretty sure Anthony Mackie was.
I haven't seen it though.
I haven't seen it either, but.
So did you recognize the Enzo Calenti guy?
No.
Who plays Bernie, who's Steve-O's friend? He's one of the fucking slavers in Game of Thrones. I was just like, that's where I fucking seen this guy from. It was driving me crazy, man. I was just like, I know I've seen this dude in something. But yeah, he's one of the dudes who is like in the. Do you remember like Khaleesi is like fighting the slaver dudes who are like, we want to keep slavery, and she's like, fuck you, and she ends up having the like scene where like 2 of them get killed or whatever. That's what he's one of those dudes.
So 17-year-old girl aside, is that guy and Steve-O us in this movie? Like, is that us,
dude? Dude, when Bernie just stands up and is walking as slow as he fucking possibly can, just like, yeah, that's something I would do. That checks out. We're
you got any headache pills? I got smack.
Talking about. Oh god, I can't even.
Talking about a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
Yeah, I was just like, it made me laugh so hard thinking back on it that I forgot the fucking line. I just left my brain. Oh my god,
there's a lot of good lines in this movie.
It's really good. It's really good. Watching Vern though, just like cannot be topped. I love it so much. He's such a fucking dick. Charlton Copley is such a fucking idiot. When he's the arms dealer who can't figure out how to like not have his gun be jammed is really funny too. There's a lot of like irony behind the characters.
Well, that and like the entire movie, he's concerned about get the fucking suitcase, and then when Ord is like, now's a good time to renegotiate our contract or whatever it is he says, he's like, how can you bring up money at a time like this? He's been concerned about the suitcase the whole movie.
I also love how his brain goes into every action movie he's seen when he's like, or he's trying to like, now I'm gonna go for it. Now, Ord, cover me, as if that's just gonna magically make everything be okay. It's so good.
Oh my god.
So Sam Riley plays Steve-O. I swear to God, I've seen him in something else too, but I can't. I looked at his IMDb and I wasn't 100% sure. Michael Smiley plays Frank, who is the kind of like, what now is he just a friend of Cillian Murphy, or are they related? I forget.
I think they're longtime friends.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Because when he's dying, he calls him like his pal.
To.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like Steve-O's father-in-law, right? No, he's Steve-O's brother-in-law.
I think so. It's hard to keep track of like the familial connections of some of the characters because they as like they would, you know, they don't like grind the movie to a halt to be like, oh yeah, you're my brother-in-law. You know, it's all organic in the way they just talk about it in passing. For the most part,
by the way, speaking of Michael Smiley, when Ord finds out that he's a recovering alcoholic, he like stops making fun of him. Like what? He's making fun of him from the beginning up to that point, and he just quits making like old man jokes and stuff after he finds out he's a recovering alcoholic. Like he suddenly got respect for him.
Right. I also love when one of the hitman guys with the like fucking grands or whatever that are shooting them from the shadows.
Yeah.
Fucking Armie Hammer recognizes one of them and he calls out his name.
I know that voice. Howard. He just pops his head up too. Howard.
It's so good. I love some of this like when the movie just like will grind the shootout to a halt just to have a really like silly joke. Like the movie expertly handles that to me. Like it's always intense because like, dude, the amount of times they all get individually shot within the first like 3 seconds of the shootout is crazy. Like they all get a flesh wound. Like all of them do.
Dude, there's a fucking chase scene in this movie where no one can stand. Like,
yeah.
Everyone is crawling.
I also love how Ord is such a badass. He can only be shot by his own guy who should not have been shooting at him.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's fucking Jack Rayner, right?
Yeah, let's talk about real quick. Jack Rayner, who I think probably most recognizable as the piece of shit dick boyfriend from Midsummer.
Yes.
Probably his most high profile. I'd say.
Everyone he shoots is someone that he should not have been shooting.
Right.
Or unintentionally shot. And then everyone else either shoots him or he kills him with a crowbar. Dude,
that crowbar scene is
dude, when
brutal.
When he shoots Brie Larson and he's just like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. He didn't mean to shoot her, and then she just turns around and shoots him. That always makes me laugh because it's exactly like the scene I've described to you from Hollow Point. I fucking love Hollow Point. We need to get that on the show at some point. Some Hollow Point. But then he later turns around and shoots Ord, and he's like, oh shit, he's gonna fucking kill me.
Yeah, it's so good. So,
oh shit! I think they shot Harry in the ass.
Right. So I think I'm sure I'm gonna butcher his name. But the character of Martin has one of the most like chilling lines in the movie, where it's like sometimes the movie. So most of the time it's just like a dark comedy, right? And there's a lot of like fucked up killings that are happening. Obviously, when like people get shot, it's fucked up, but it gets like brutal at times. So after Martin, who's played by Babo Cisse, when he's on the ground after having been shot in the head, and he just says, you know, like I'm alive, I'm just regrouping. That line is fucked up. Like you're just like, oh fuck, man.
From what I'm seeing here on Google, you got it.
No way.
Babo Cisse.
Nice. But yeah, that line like stuck with me. I was like, man, that's kind of like bone chilling when you think about it. And then they turn right back around and turn him into like another comedic actor when he's like just casually walking around because he's miraculously still alive even though he's been shot in the head. But he just like he couldn't give less of a shit, so he just starts walking around the active shootout, you know, and like a really awesome scene where when he's walking around and everyone like it's just like they just freeze when he walks by and aims a gun at them because he's such a wild card at that point because of what happened to him. Like
everyone's afraid of him.
Yeah, he's the most terrifying wild card in the shootout because he no longer has the capacity to like think that he's in danger.
His brain is dying, but he's still walking around with a gun.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy scene.
You know who he looks like to me?
Who's that?
He reminds me a lot of Yaphet Kotto from Alien.
Yeah.
If you put the sports band on his head and just have him complaining about his wages the whole movie.
Yeah, I like that call.
Have him yell "Ash is a goddamn robot," and you got Yaphet Kotto from Alien.
I love his delivery too earlier on in the movie where Cillian Murphy is like, "You can even keep the bag," and he's like, "Yeah, I was planning to."
Yeah, I was planning to.
To me, that's one of the strong suits of the movie. Is the first like 30 minutes or so prior to the shootout is really strong, and it's just purely off of like the acting and the dialogue. You know, like, there is no shootout happening yet, but they really ramp up that tension where you just know shit's about to hit the fan.
Everybody does not like each other. Everyone just wants to conduct a business and get the fuck out.
Everyone is walking on eggshells. Everyone is some of them are more antagonistic about the situation than others. You know, like how Cillian Murphy is like just nonchalantly he gets really mad. Is it AR-70?
Yeah.
Is that the type of gun they're given instead of M16s?
Yes. That's not what we ordered.
He holds that against Vern the entire movie. This
is bad for business. Yeah, so it's getting me the wrong gun. That's bad for business.
Yeah, so is bringing AR-70s to an M16 deal. He takes personal offense to it because Cillian Murphy and Frank are like very old school.
You're supposed to be professional.
Yeah,
it's not professional.
It's not at all. But
Vernon is such a piece of shit. He puts it off on Justine, and then turns around to Martin and says how they're keeping the M16s to sell to the Lebanon, the Lebanese or whatever.
Yeah, fucked him over.
Yeah, so it wasn't her mistake. He did it on purpose.
Yeah, because he's just it's amazing in this movie full of shitbags how much Charles Copley is cranked up to the 11th degree in being such a shithead.
Yeah, because Vernon says Justine, he accuses her of just saying assault rifles. But then it specifically says that they're keeping the M16s to sell to the Lebanese.
And they're also only keeping the ammo on hand if they need to sweeten the deal as like a backup plan.
Yeah.
Which is also fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Noah Taylor who plays Gordon. Noah Taylor is one of those dudes who you definitely have seen.
I love Noah Taylor.
Million things. He's so you remember him in he plays in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
His character like infiltrating the Night's Watch is a super cool plot line. I like Noah Taylor a lot.
I was trying to think. There is he's in Skyscraper, but he's in he's paying Peaky Blinders apparently.
Dude, the amount of awesome fucking supporting character level actors like Noah Taylor and like Littlefinger is in Peaky Blinders. Every fucking awesome British actor is just in that show. Like they just collected all of them.
He's in both Angelina Jolie, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider movies. Apparently,
I did not remember that.
I did not remember that either. He's in the Borgias, which I watched.
Is that a good show? I never actually watched that.
Dude, if you're a fan of shitbag Jeremy Irons, then yeah.
I do love me some shitbag Jeremy Irons. That's
dude,
all I need to hear.
Jeremy Irons is one of my favorite Hollywood villains, and he is such a shitbag. Because he's Borgia, the most corrupt pope in history.
For some reason, my brain just like went back to, why hasn't Cillian Murphy been a Bond villain yet?
I don't know.
Because like, if I was rebooting Bond, I'd get like...
he's so sadistic in fucking Batman Begins, dude.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy, I think, would be like the perfect Bond villain because he can play subtly sinister, or he can just outright be like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I think he would be a perfect choice for that.
Because you can't talk about him being a villain without me thinking about him revealing the Scarecrow mask for the first time in Batman Begins. Yeah.
So good.
Oh, God, he's so awful in that movie. I fucking love it.
Yeah, the way he delivers like these crazies, they just can't stand it. It's like, man, he's so good.
So good.
He's so good. We didn't deserve to have a Batman movie with fucking Cillian Murphy, Liam Neeson, Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, what a movie.
And everyone hates that movie, and it's my favorite of the three.
Yeah, it's up there. Dark Knight and that are very, very close, but it's so close. They're so fucking good. I'm so glad they never made a third one. That would have been like a ball buster to have a.
This is more to the audience than it is to you because we've talked about this before. But I like The Dark Knight, but to me, Batman Begins is a Batman movie, and The Dark Knight is a detective movie or crime movie that has Batman in it.
And I love them both, but yeah, the best like quote unquote like Batman movie is probably Batman Begins. Batman Begins is so fucking good.
Yeah, I like Batman. I like them both, but Batman Begins is a full-on Batman movie to me. It has more of the Batman tropes in it and everything.
Yeah, for sure. So we've run through the majority of the cast. Was there anyone else with the cast that you wanted to touch on before I move to the director and writers?
I don't think
we touched on pretty much everybody.
I think we got there.
I like that they only keep the cast to about like 7 or 8 people. Well, because I could see them hypothetically doing this type of movie with more characters just so they can kill off more of them more quickly, you know? I like that it's a pretty small cast. Was
it Noah Taylor that crawled after Brie Larson and got mad at her for shooting him twice?
Dude, he's so offended.
He's so upset.
He reacts to it like he got cut off in traffic, dude. He's just like, he's so like personally insulted. It's great.
It's so good.
It's fucking amazing.
Hang on. Can we talk about how Vernon dies?
Well, just like real quickly, I want to finish up with the director and writers. Did you know the fucking director of this directed The Meg 2?
No.
Like, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it's a name I don't recognize.
So what's interesting is I was scrolling back through his IMDb, and he directed 2 episodes of Doctor Who. He actually was the first. He was the first director to direct Peter Capaldi. He directed the first 2 when they did the shift from Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi, which is kind of crazy.
The Doctor Who casting that made everyone in the UK go, what?
What?
Because apparently he says fuck every other word in every other movie he's in, and they made him Doctor Who.
He's like, yeah, fuck it.
You know, the kids show. Everyone was like, what?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting though. I had no idea.
That's interesting. I don't hardly recognize anything outside of that.
Yeah,
I recognize the ABCs of Death, but I don't recognize anything else outside of that. And that's not a commentary on any of his work. I'm not familiar.
We also need to watch The Meg 2 because I want to watch The Meg 2.
The first one makes me sad. I mean, I like it. I thought
you liked The Meg. Or is it because you've read the books now and you like? retroactively dislike it more?
Yeah, I had read several of the books before the first movie even came out. And what makes me really sad is they have perfect casting. They just have them in the wrong roles. Like Cliff Curtis is such a better Jonah Taylor, than Jason Statham is. But Jason Statham is the perfect casting for Cliff Curtis's character. They've got them backwards. They've got them in the movie. They just have them backwards. But I guess they were afraid that Cliff Curtis wouldn't be able to keep his costume on.
God damn. Why didn't you think of that fucking movie, dude?
I gotta bring you down.
Yeah, you gotta bring me down somehow.
Did you notice there's a producer's name that sticks out here? Did you see this?
Mr. Scorsese? Is that what you're referring to?
A crime movie produced by Martin Scorsese? What?
Yeah. It was bizarre. I had no idea he was involved in this in any capacity, and I've seen this movie before.
I mean, he's an executive producer. He could have just had the script ran past him and he signed a check. We don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, just the fact his name is on it. Period. I had no idea. Like, I had no fucking idea.
But I mean, it's a crime movie. It's fairly mafia-esque. Like, it's pretty fitting that, I mean, I'm sure that this, I haven't watched a lot of Scorsese's movies, but I imagine this is paying homage to a lot of them.
Yeah, for sure. There's always, I feel like there's always a little bit of Scorsese in your movie if you do these types of shootouts or kind of like the aesthetic of the movie is very Scorsese. There's like this like very, very kind of orangish tint to everything that is very like 70s Scorsese, kind of like a little bit like grungy Taxi Driver style. Like, not quite that level of grunge, but there's a lot of like visual language.
I feel like what I know about Scorsese's movies, fucking Cillian Murphy and Michael Smiley are pretty much Scorsese characters, right?
For sure. Yeah, it's almost like they've handpicked, like, the tropes are in their own group in the movie from like you said earlier, like tropes of other archetypes of other, you have like your kind of Boston mobsters. You've got your Irish ones.
It's Scorsese tropes versus Guy Ritchie tropes, right?
Yeah, with like a few characters who are Tarantino characters.
Yeah,
it's like a hodgepodge that somehow ends up like becoming its own thing. Like, it is mostly a Guy Ritchie like tone to it, but there's moments of it to where it kind of like pivots into being like, I think like the moments where it's incredibly brutal, like with Charles Oakley, we'll talk about in a second, like you referenced, like those moments are very like Scorsese, where it shifts to kind of be like more like The Departed at times, instead of like a guy, because like most of the time Guy Ritchie movies never hit that level of dark. Most of the time Guy Ritchie movies have like this kind of dark comedy, super cool mobsters, and that's the movie. And I'm okay with that because I love me some Guy Ritchie, but it's like more Scorsese where you have these moments of where shit gets real, that it's, I think taking into account, and more so homaging Scorsese, which makes sense, because you don't make this movie, you don't write this movie unless you are a giant Guy Ritchie, Tarantino, and Scorsese fanboy, because that's right. Like all this movie is. It's just like a giant love letter to all those movies that came before it.
I have seen.
So it was. Sorry,
I have seen 3 Scorsese movies in my time.
I probably haven't seen much more than that. I've seen some of like I've seen like The Departed, and I've seen Taxi Driver. Surely I've seen more than that. Just like brain not working.
I've seen The Aviator, Shine a Light, and Shutter Island.
I've seen Shutter Island. I would watch The Irishman, but I don't have 5 hours to just, like spend watching a movie. So the movie was also co-written by Ben Wheatley, the director, with Amy Jump. This is actually interesting. Did you know originally Olivia Wilde and Luke Evans were in the cast?
Oh my God.
Luke Evans is very, very much in the vein of this movie. I think he would have been a good selection. So Olivia Wilde had to leave in April 2015, apparently. due to a scheduling conflict and was replaced with Brie Larson, which I think worked out in the movie's favor because I think she fits this character better than Olivia Wilde would.
I agree, but we could still find a place for Olivia Wilde, man.
Yeah, but Luke Evans in this movie,
dude,
I think
Luke
would be
Evans.
amazing. I'm sad we didn't get a little bit of Luke Evans in this because he'd be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, Luke Evans, I feel like is another one of those that just gets so close to catching a break. And then everybody hates his break.
And if I didn't say, Amy Jump is the co-writer. I believe she originally wrote the script for this, and then it was Ben Wheatley becoming a co-writer when he was kind of adapting it for the screen. I think it's one of those where it wasn't a writing team. It was you each get credit because they end up, doing revisions enough of the movie. I think it's like you have to contribute. Did you know that they literally have it broken down to like a percentage of the script to get credit? Like they're very, very technical when it comes to the writing credits. It's kind of crazy. For those of you out there that do not know, if you see an ampersand in the writing credits of a movie's credits, that is a writing team. And if you see the word "and" written out, that means they were two separate writing teams. So I think
Jesus Christ, this is what's wrong with America,
right? It's very, very specific on their rules. It's fucking bonkers.
We forgot the end of the line on this one quote. I'm scrolling through the quotes right now.
What was that?
You threw out bringing AR-70s to an M16 deal is not good for business. And then Justine follows it up with, neither's bringing a sex pest.
I love that line so much.
And from the only lady in the movie, too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about perfume. It's beard oil. Dude, let's talk technicalities.
For sure. Well, let's talk about the way Charles Copley dies because it's fucking brutal, dude. His hands after he gets burned is hard to watch.
Dude, he's fucking Deadpool by the end of it.
Dude, the way Charles Copley is just like subtly shaking.
Yeah,
is like it's one of those things where it's like most of the time you're just fucking laughing along with like the silliness of this movie, but it hits you sometimes with like
the silliest character gets the most serious.
It's fucking brutal, dude. So he's going after Frank because they're trying to get to what they find out is like a working phone in the building, which is obviously a big deal because they can call for help and get like out of the situation.
1978, people.
Yeah. They're fighting their way like up the staircase that's nearby to get to the office where this phone's ringing so they can call out for help. And Charles Copley is chasing after Frank, and he's about to bust in to try to kill him and use the phone, and fucking Frank just empties out this huge thing of gasoline and lights it while he's standing in it.
Yeah.
And oh man, it's tough to watch.
It's hard to watch. And like the irony of the fact that he's got the most serious thing that happens to him when he was the most comical character, and the irony of the thing he's the most afraid of is getting infection from his wounds, so he straps cardboard to himself.
And then gets set on fire.
And then it gets set on fire while he has kindling tied to himself.
It's fucked up.
It's real fucked up. And then, he's probably going to die from those wounds, but he has a good long time to see what has happened to his body before that happens.
He is also constantly terrified of his suit getting messed up.
Uh-huh.
And for that to happen to him is also just like...
It's probably fused to his skin at this point.
Yeah. It's fucked up, dude.
It's real fucked up.
It's like a fucking mercy when Cillian Murphy happens upon him and shoots him.
Yeah.
At that point, because Jesus Christ.
He's still fighting to survive, too. He opens fire on Cillian Murphy first.
Yeah.
It's so sad in a way, but he's such a dick, too.
Another thing that's hard to watch is the way Steve-O gets it, dude.
You know what it reminds me of is the Austin Powers steamroller. Because you just see it moving in the background, but this guy's been shot 4 or 5 times. He's high on smack. Yeah.
Dude, the sound effect as the tire goes over his face. Fuck, man.
And then he fires
and then they
a
turn
bullet
right
through
back
the
around,
floorboard.
and he shoots him in the ass. And they're just like, "Yo, man, I think they shot Harry in the ass." They turn around. It's a fucking. They turn the guy's head exploding from being ran over into a fucking Tarantino joke.
Yeah,
it's like, well done.
And I think maybe they made a hairy ass joke also.
Yeah, like I like how ballsy the movie is about the shifts in tone.
Well, like it's perfect for the character that is saying it, right? I mean, that's Ord.
Yeah.
Like, he's the only character in the movie. He is straight up a Tarantino character. So, of course, he's making Tarantino lines, right?
Yeah. He's like a hybrid between like a Tarantino character and the like inevitably super badass Guy Ritchie characters in all of his movies, like there's always one character who is just, fucking untouchable. So yeah, he's like a blend. Yeah.
You smell good. Thank you. It's your mother.
I love the misdirect at the beginning of the movie where they allude to one of them at the situation being undercover.
Yes.
And that does not end up being the case. I like that misdirect because like what's kind of cool is at the ending of the movie, they have almost like a callback to at the beginning of the movie where Cillian Murphy asks her directly, "Are you FBI?" And that like that sets in motion in your brain. You're just like, oh, somebody for sure, because they said that it's like a Chekhov's gun thing.
Well,
like somebody is going to be undercover and will be in the FBI.
There's something about her character that makes you believe that from the beginning, even before all of that.
For sure.
I don't know if it's because one of these things is not like the other, or if it's the way she behaves, but there's something off about her character that makes you think that straight up from the beginning.
Yeah, it's. I think partially just because of her performance. It's something specific about the way she's acting where you almost like feel like she's an undercover agent.
She has reason to be acting slightly off, we find out later.
Yeah.
But it's not what you think.
She's not FBI. And I love how at the very end of it, so she's the only one who survives pretty much. There's a couple of characters who like ostensibly might be alive, but are most likely dead.
Yeah, you know Cillian Murphy's probably not going to make it.
Yeah, he's not gonna make it. So Brie Larson is the last person alive because she shoots. Did that scene also catch you off guard? Like, did you remember how Ord gets shot? Because it caught me off guard because I had forgotten about it.
I remembered Brie Larson was the only one that quote unquote walks away, but I couldn't remember how it went down until I saw it.
It's really well done. Where he's like, "Let me tell you a John Denver story," and then just gets taken out.
Yeah,
that is Scorsese. Like Scorsese's done that a few times where people will just be in like mid fucking conversation and like a main character just died. And you're just like, what the fuck,
dude? The way Howard goes out when he's about to tell who hired him, and then gets shot and just screams.
It's rough, dude.
It's real rough.
It's rough. So Brie Larson is trying to get out of the building. She shoots at Ord to try and kill him, but then accidentally shoots Cillian Murphy, who she didn't mean to shoot. She goes up and basically tells him, "I'm sorry, you were in the way." Like it wasn't intentional. She was aiming it.
Oh, that's not how I took that line. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think she intended to kill, because of her like how much of a state she's in at the end, to where she can barely stand. I think it was an accident. I don't think she
doesn't he get shot second.
Cillian Murphy gets shot second, but she does the shots in like rapid fire. She's like bam, bam. I don't think she's in a state. And they also show her not being the best with guns earlier on, to where I think she fired 2 shots trying to kill Armie Hammer's character and accidentally clips Cillian Murphy. That's how I took it.
I took that line as like being between her and the money and escaping.
So you think she intentionally? I don't think it's possible for her to like. Those are like Ord level shots.
Well, she's in on everything with Martin. She had intended to walk away with the money with Martin and the 2 snipers.
Yeah, but she has moments earlier on where she's just blatantly missing shots to where.
Well, I mean, everybody does though. So I didn't.
Yeah, but to her to turn around and be like Ord, like fucking John Wick level 2-tap across the room, like bam, bam. I don't think it. It's you can read it either way, but
yeah,
like she kills both of them, and is walking out the door, and you see this like the flashing lights from the like police or FBI, whatever like law enforcement agency is approaching, And the way she turns around and her expression shows she wasn't undercover. She realizes she's fucked and she's panicking. Right. And I like that reveal doesn't happen
she's
until
too
the
damaged
very
to get
end.
away. She's not going anywhere.
Yeah, where she realizes she's probably going to survive, but she's going to jail. So no one gets out scot-free. But I love that you go like the whole fucking movie with that kind of in the back of your mind. It's like, oh, she's going to get away. She was a cop. She was an undercover FBI agent. Like, nope, she was in on it. She was a criminal. She was not FBI, and she's now screwed too.
That scene is also filmed and framed the way most of these movies end when someone is an informant or something, right?
Right.
Like that should be like you're expecting her to be relieved. Instead, she turns around and panic, and it goes to credits.
It's a super cool like play on expectations with the genre. I think that's something that the movie does constantly, as far as like playing on expectation with the genre, and to the extent of it understands like these movies that have come before it, but it's not like bending over backwards to fit into the same tropes. It's I think it's a lot more clever than people like give it credit for, as far as how it's taking into account being a love letter to Scorsese and Tarantino and by Guy Ritchie, but without being so kind of like trite that it becomes kind of pointless as a movie because it's too much of a love letter. It's kind of like it's like a fine line. I think
it's also doing a lot of subtleties where it's taking the tropes of the genre and playing with them and mixing them up.
Agreed. Yeah.
So if you're not a huge crime movie buff, a lot of this is probably just going right by you because there's subtle things like we talked about Brie Larson's, trying to escape, and you're expecting her to be an informant or something, but she turns around in panic instead of relief. Or like the thing that I was expecting the first time I watched it is Cillian Murphy's still alive on the ground. There's no reason he couldn't just shoot her in the back as she's walking away.
Yeah.
Things like that. But
I love his delivery of, saying like you made it good for you. Like it's very genuine because he genuinely likes her. Even though she just fucking shot him, he has a lot of respect for her and he likes her. Like there's like romantic interest between the two of them, and he respects her for like just the way that she's kind of played them.
I'll tell you this: I wouldn't turn down Cillian Murphy. He came on to me. I'd sort of tickle fight and see where it went. It's one of my favorite Craig Ferguson jokes. Dude, the Cillian Murphy's character is so interesting to me because he is such like an old school type mafia man that like he's accepted this is how he was gonna die at some point in his life. He just didn't know when, right? Like he's not surprised by anything that happens. He's not really that surprised when he gets shot. And his demeanor when she's walking by, and he's like, "You made it good for you. You can take whatever you want." At this point, like just the way he's acting, like you can tell he's already accepted his fate years ago.
Right.
Of course, I've never wanted to watch Johnny Dangerously more than I want to right now.
So I have to ask you because of how much you're terrified of needles.
Oh, dude.
When Frank is crawling across the floor of the warehouse and the needle out of nowhere, did you about like shit your pants?
I forgot that was in this movie, and fuck this. I fucking hate this movie. I never want to watch it again. I can't believe that got me twice.
It's so funny.
That got me twice.
Every time I see someone in a movie have like an unexpected like needle get plunged into them, I think of you and how much that specifically triggers you. And I always think of you, and it's just funny to me now because like I can't like disassociate it.
Dude, my buddy forcing me to watch one of those fucking Saw movies.
Yeah.
And the chick from Becker gets thrown in the pit full of them.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
I squealed. I literally think I squealed. And it turns out my buddy was watching me the whole scene. Because he knew it was coming because he fucking loved those movies.
That's one of those things you can't unsee either. Is because it's just so fucking haunting. Like her
when
sitting
she's
in the
sitting there
vat.
and they're pulling them out of her.
It's the worst, dude.
Oh,
all kinds of not okay.
By the way, can I just say, since I've been defending this my whole life, all you people that are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's just a syringe. Are you a baby? Phobias are irrational fears. There's no explaining it in a way that makes sense because it's an irrational fear. And you know it's irrational. So fuck off. Get off my back.
Yeah, not okay.
As Ron White would say, things that make you go.
Also, how fucked up is it when they first get to the phone and they answer it and it's like the automated, like, you're a winner, blah, blah, blah. It's such a good moment. And I think Frank like immediately gets shot right after answering the phone.
That's the last thing he hears.
It's like fucking insult to injury, man.
Yeah. Technically, he and Vernon killed each other. There's no way he's surviving those burn wounds and the infection he's going to get from that. Because
it's also fucked up. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, famously, that's the worst part of the burn wound. If you survive them, the infection will kill you. That's the irony in Vernon's death.
Yeah. Also, have you seen the character posters for this movie where the people have like the gun range targets silhouetted against them? I'm gonna send you.
I'm on my way to look at it.
Yeah. So if you go to, it's on the images. They're really cool.
There's one of these posters. I fucking love Brie Larson's 70s glasses.
Yeah, there's a lot of posters that are like very, very 70s mobster.
My favorite is still them with all the guns pointed at each other in a circle. This is so good.
They're really cool. I love them. With they pretty much won for like all the characters too, which is really cool. It's not even just the main ones. Like every character gets like a gun range poster.
Sean, don't go, please. What that fucking smile he's got?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Babo Cisse's too.
So good.
Yeah.
Man. What a movie. Yeah, I feel like this is one of those movies that it's like criminally underrated and underseen. Like it only grossed like fucking $3.5 million at the box office, which is criminal. Because I think this movie's a lot of fun. We watched this on HBO, right?
Yes.
Go fucking watch it, man. It's like on Max. Just go watch it. It's great.
Did you and I watch this together for the first time, like in my house? We did, yeah.
This was like I think I might have talked about it at the end of the last episode when you announced it, but this was like the prototype for what became this podcast because I think we selected it to check it out for the first time in one of our like movie days.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That like what ended up. This is pre-pandemic. We started getting together and watching movies, and then that had to end with the pandemic, and that gave birth to the podcast.
Yeah.
Because we just started talking about it more and more, and it's like, we could just record them.
Also, wild this came out 8 years ago. It's like, Jesus, I just remember watching it like it was yesterday.
Dude, this is the same year my kids were born.
Isn't that nuts? So your kids are almost 8?
My kids are almost 8.
That makes me feel fucking old.
Oh, yeah? I think it makes me feel. I used to change their diapers, man.
Yeah, that's got to be a trip.
But, yeah, I really... all these pictures now suddenly became nothing but Brie Larson. I kind of want to go watch Kong Skull Island now.
Kong Skull Island's really fucking good. Got how many... That became like a fucking MCU reunion movie,
right?
Because it's like it's got Nick Fury, it's got Captain Marvel, it's got Loki, it's got fucking everybody in it.
We just need to find a place in the MCU for John Goodman.
Goddamn, every cinematic universe just needs to have John Goodman. Like I don't care who he's playing, get him in there, dude.
You know what I always forget is, dude, I just got to the end of the IMDb pictures. They also have posters of the characters taking cover.
I am scrolling to go find them now.
Oh, there's only a few of them.
What number are they?
Like 148 is what I want to say the first one is. Let me see.
Okay.
148 is Martin.
Scrolling through them now.
We got Noah Taylor, and then I think that's the only 2 that we get. I want one of those for every character.
Let's see. Oh, that's really cool. I like that,
dude.
They're very that's like, to me,
that's like a 70s cop show.
It really is. I love how like minimal the movie is.
Yeah.
It's just it's just people who are wisecracking fucking mobster characters stuck in a fucked up situation because of an asshole, and it's like it has its comedic moments, it has its moments where shit hits the fan and it becomes pretty intense. Like, dude, when Frank is crawling through the spaces in between the offices is intense as fuck. Like
spaces in between sounds like a Lovecraft story.
Spaces in between.
I like this one on 159 also. 3 crates of semi-automatic assault rifles, 2 bags of money, 1 bullet away from freedom.
That's really cool.
What's the 2 bags of money? It was the suitcase. What else was there?
I don't know.
Is there something we're missing? Is this a list or is this the quantity?
Oh, did they originally bring it over in 2 bags and then like Martin and them were like putting it into one? I don't remember.
They brought it over in the suit. I almost feel like this is a 3-2-1 rather than a like there was 2 bags of money. This is just number 2 in the list. I don't know.
Oh, gotcha.
Like 3-2-1 fire type situation.
Yeah, or maybe they made the poster like really early on and then they kind of revamped. They wanted to make it just
cut it down.
They wanted to cut it down to 1 briefcase to have like a Pulp Fiction MacGuffin type thing. So that makes sense.
Wouldn't it have been?
That's how they started to make the movie. And it's like, oh yeah, this movie is Pulp Fiction as fuck. So let's just have 1 briefcase because fuck it.
Wouldn't it have been great if they did pull the Pulp Fiction and just never showed you the inside of the suitcase?
Right. Man. Yeah.
But,
I like this movie a lot. I'm glad we got a chance to revisit it because this is one of those that like I'll watch every like 6-7 years or so.
Yeah.
That way I kind of like forget the specifics of what happens, and then it becomes like a little bit like a roller coaster all over again, where you just don't know.
Well, the movie itself is so minimal. I've kind of already forgotten a lot of it because it's just a shootout for a whole movie. So there's a lot of really good lines and stuff, but it's not like there's super memorable scenes. The whole movie is kind of one scene, It's also interesting, like when you think about it, the movie really just has 2 acts. Yeah.
You have before the shootout and you have the shootout. That's it.
It ends at Act 3 beginning, right? When the cops show up and then credits.
Yeah. Like the movie just has like the only like denouement, if you want to get like technical about it, is like Brie Larson's expression of her realizing she's fucked. That's it.
Yeah. Where's she gonna go? What's she gonna do? The only way out basically is where the cops are, right?
Yeah.
That's where everybody was trying to go. The van crashed shortly before there.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I think I've kind of touched on everything that I had. Anything else with Free Fire before we sign off that you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think this is one of those things where the movie itself is kind of so minimal that, we talked about the characters, but as far as action and stuff, it's just you have to see it. The movie has to speak for itself. But there's so much here. The cast alone is. The cast and I remember the trailers being kind of funny. The thing is, this is listed as an action comedy. I think it is an action with comedy. I don't think it is an action comedy. That's not what I think of as an action comedy.
Yeah.
I think it's like your typical, not really your typical, but it's your action movie with like one-liners and a few funny situations. I don't think it's an action comedy, but the trailer definitely made it seem a lot more Guy Ritchie than it is. And I just remember looking at the cast and seeing the trailer and being like, I don't know, it seems like my kind of thing. Like it seemed like one of those things where it couldn't fail. Either it's so awful it circles all the way around, or it's brilliant. Like it can't be anything in between.
Yeah, it was one of those where going in just based on the cast, I would imagine myself thinking back then, it's like they wouldn't have been able to attract these actors if there wasn't something here,
right?
Because like a lot of these people don't just willy-nilly accept roles. Like some of them are pretty choosy about the types of projects they take on and everything. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. And like to me, like on your point, like an action comedy is like the Nice Guys.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between this versus the Nice Guys as like a comparison point.
Tell me we've had that on our show.
We have. Yeah,
Okay,
I picked
good.
it a while back.
Because if not, I'm just walking away from the podcast here and now.
Right, if we almost got to 100 without covering the Nice Guys, we both need to like be fired from this podcast.
I'd have to fire myself.
Yeah, we just gotta fire ourselves. But but Bobby would fire us. Bobby's the executive producer of all of our shit. So,
one of the tropes in a crime movie, the trailer is playing on IMDb on a loop while we're sitting here talking about it. I forgot when Brie Larson has her badass one-liner before she's going to shoot Noah Taylor, and then she reveals she's out of ammo. The light is swinging back and forth, and the shadows and everything, the way the shadows are playing, is a really big trope in this type of movie also that they play with.
Yeah.
They said it's usually when like someone has the upper hand like she does, but when she pulls the trigger, nothing happens because she's out of ammo. Dude, the point in the movie when everyone starts running out of ammo. Oh, dude. One of the most painful crowbar scenes to watch since the fucking Joker.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's not okay.
Not okay.
And you think he might actually be able to like he's
fucking
Harry,
Bane, dude.
He has Harry pretty much toast.
Dude. Harry's just
crazy.
When Harry's crawling on the van, he's just like, Jesus Christ. After he gets thrown over the top of the van.
Like he's already in this like crazy situation, and then he stumbled upon a fucking Batman
fucking
villain.
Hodor walks in, just starts throwing him around, and he's crawling on his stomach under the van, just like Jesus Christ.
It's so fucking nuts.
It's so good, and you're laughing until the crowbar goes into his mouth.
Yeah,
and then you just go from laughing to
God.
What did I just say?
Yeah. Oh, and Cillian Murphy's reaction to it.
Yeah.
Where he thinks he might be saved, because Leary, I think is the character's name.
Because Bane showed up.
Because Bane showed up with this fucking venom. And is looking at Harry like, I got you for 3 minutes.
Bonesaw ready.
Leary is ready. And then for him to get taken out like that, and then Cillian Murphy just has this like fuck kind of reaction to it. That's fucking amazing.
Any other movie that wouldn't have hurt Leary, right? Like that's the trope we're playing with here. That's the expectation. This guy won't go down.
Is this the origin of Jaws from James Bond? Because he's basically Jaws.
Like you would expect in any other movie of this genre, Larry to be Sean Bean from Lord of the Rings, where he's got 6 arrows sticking out of him, but he's still fighting.
Yeah.
Until he literally just can't anymore. His body's failing.
Turns out the Achilles heel of plot armor is a crowbar.
I know we must have talked about this in the Lord of the Rings episode, but is there any better character redemption in a movie than Sean Bean?
Oh, man, it's so good.
Because he falls to the ring, tries to take it, and then he dies defending Frodo's friend in what has to be one of the most painful to watch character deaths of all time, as he's got like, I don't know, 6 or 8 arrows sticking out of him.
Keeps on fighting.
And he just keeps going.
I remember us talking about that moment a lot because of how much we like that.
Because you feel every arrow impact. And I remember being in a movie theater, literally feeling the thump from the bass.
Yeah, you get a huge hit of bass with every single time the arrow hits.
Oh, I take a big hit of bass every night, man. That's how I've been sleeping lately. I've been taking a big hit of bass.
But and that's like pretty much the only sound you're hearing is just the thumps of the bass from the arrows.
Things kind of go quiet after that for a moment.
Yeah,
as you see him really feel it, and then just start screaming and pick up his sword and behead another orc. Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
And then also,
I think he said in an interview that's his favorite death he's had, by the way.
I mean, he's probably forgotten a few of them, to be fair. So
I like how he's the Undying in Hitman, by the way, to bring it back around to last week. I love
that.
Because there's they had a thing in the Hitman games where they would bring in celebrities, and you had one chance to kill them, and then it went away, and you could never do it again. There was like Gary Busey was one of them. and Sean Bean was one of them, and Sean Bean's character was the Undying, and his whole character's thing revolved around the fact that so many people have tried to kill this guy, but no one's ever been successful.
Just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That is genius. I love that.
It's so good.
About that. I had forgotten about that. It's fantastic.
Which just goes to show he has a sense of humor about himself, right?
Oh, yeah. Sean Bean's the fucking best.
Is he the one that got into a fight in a bar and got stabbed with a knife and then went back into the bar and kept drinking when it was over?
I don't know, but
Sean Bean?
That sounds like something Sean Bean would do.
It was Sean Bean or Liam Neeson or someone got into a bar fight, took a knife to the thigh, filed a police report, and just walked right back into the bar and kept drinking. I don't remember who it was.
I don't know what got me thinking about it, but you know who another actor who would be just like fucking perfect for Free Fire if you were like redoing this movie? Brendan fucking Gleeson would be perfect for Free Fire. Like, his level of just like, I'm too old for this shit, but being just a smart ass, like badass the whole time. So yeah, he'd be perfect.
I'm trying to back up what I said.
Are you looking at the Sean Bean thing?
Yeah. I think it was Sean Bean. I'm just gonna go with Sean Bean. See what that.
I'll do some of our. I'll start some of our sign-offs while you're researching it. So if you would like to support the show, you can always, give us a follow or subscription on whichever platform you found us on. Liking and subscribing to the videos and channel on YouTube are a huge help. Any ratings or reviews, it's always helpful. Please share us out to your friends. Have you found anything else about Sean Bean's knife fight yet?
Sean Bean stabbed in London bar fight.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, fucking go away. This is from CBS News. Was stabbed in the arm during an incident which took place in a London bar. Witnesses told the paper that Bean, 52 at the time, I don't know when this was, 2011. Is he 60 years old? He looks good.
Yep.
52 and model April Summers were smoking outside the bar when a passerby made lewd comments about her, and Bean chased him down the street. The man returned to the bar later that evening. He must have been like, oh shit, Sean Bean, and ran off. And the man returned to the bar later and spotted Bean outside again and attacked him. The actor reportedly punched in the face and stabbed in the arm with broken glass. Despite the injuries, Bean chose not to go to the hospital. Instead, he accepted first aid from the bar staff and then ordered another drink.
I love that, man.
Sean is a regular here, and we've never had any problems before. He was with a very attractive woman, and an incident occurred outside the bar, one staff member told. He came in with a cut on his arm and a bruise on his elbow. We saw to his injuries with the first aid kit. He seemed okay and wanted to have another drink.
Amazing.
That dude, the smug picture that they chose for this is perfect, and smug in the best way. Smug in the best way.
I liked how that dude who stabbed him thought he was gonna be the one,
the one that takes down Batman.
The one this random thug's gonna be the one person to take down Batman or Sean Bean. It's just like, no, you're not gonna be him, dude. It's not gonna happen.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. I think the only thing I had forgotten to mention in the sign-offs was, like we mentioned earlier, if you have any questions or prompts for us for the beginning portion of the show, email us, screenplayrewind@gmail.com.
I just thought of something that I have to mention now. One of the few movies he survives is The Martian, but he committed career suicide in that movie. Like, he had to hand in his resignation at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
So he still died in a way.
Well, he lived in Silent Hill. He just now lives in Silent Hill. So,
which is kind of like dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that he lived in The Martian, but committed career suicide. So he still died in a way.
Missed it by that much. Oh, fuck. Anything else before we announce the next movie, Ron?
No, I can't think of any other actors that have been stabbed. I like how I was right, but wrong on two other counts. I was right about the actor, but it was his arm and it was with glass, not a knife or the leg.
Yeah.
I had every other detail wrong.
Well, you never bring broken glass to a Sean Bean fight, man.
Dude, that guy was like, oh shit, Sean Bean ran away. And I was like, I could take Sean Bean. He's dying all the time, and went back. Like, that's my favorite part of that story.
It's like, man, you got to bring some more than just a piece of glass. Like, dude survived like 5 minutes with 17 arrows in him. It's
I was
like,
gonna say, have you not seen Lord of the Rings?
This is child's play, bro. Like,
yeah.
You just activated the orchestral score, and Sean Bean going fucking apeshit on you, man.
Now, I think Liam Neeson is the one that left the bar having clearly peed himself. Is why I was getting them confused.
Well, he has a very particular set of skills, Ron. Did you hear he's I know we had like 20 changes before trying to sign out the show. The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. What are your thoughts on that? Because that's pretty bonkers.
The more I think about it,
the more you're kind of down, right?
The more I'm kind of down for it because because of A Million Ways to Die in the West, right?
I still need to see that, but yeah,
really,
I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect, but at the same time, we don't need it, right? Like, I don't blame Liam Neeson. I just blame whoever came up with the idea of continuing it. Like, this is going to be Get Smart all over again. There's no way it's not.
It could be good. You never know. We've had some reboots of shit that ends up being miraculously good that looked like it was going to be dog shit. So it can happen. It's unlikely, but it can happen. So we'll see.
By the way,
I'm curious though. Either way, I'm curious about how it turns out with that.
Last thing I'm going to say before we reveal our next movie, the last aside I have. One of my favorite memes on the internet is still, you may be cool, but you'll never be Liam Neeson getting his shoes tied by Olivia Wilde cool. Have you ever seen that picture? He's standing there and Olivia Wilde is down on one knee tying his shoes for him.
Yeah, I think so. I think I remember that now.
Yeah.
All right. So before we begin Friends and Family stuff in April, Ron, would you like to know what we're going to be covering next?
Yes, please.
All right. Continuing my trend of picking something that has been on my short list that I don't know what the fuck it's really about.
Okay.
We're going to cover Everything Everywhere All at Once. Is that
the Ryan Gosling one?
No. This is the Ke Huy Quan where he won the Oscar for it.
Okay.
You just said the Olivia Wilde picture. It looks really funny. This is the movie. Just to sell you with it, Michelle Yeoh, Ke Huy Quan, and Jamie Lee Curtis and James Hong are the leads in it. Don't know jack shit about it. It got a lot of buzz. It's apparently really good. I don't know anything about it. I want to see the movie that got Ke Huy Quan an Oscar, and that's pretty much like my basis for having it on the show. I have to see that.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him.
I love Ke Huy Quan. He seems like the fucking friendliest person in the universe every time you see him in like an interview. Like, he just seems like such a chill dude.
Yeah, and like he was short round his entire life. Like he couldn't get away from that character. And he had to kind of quit acting, but then he kind of came back to acting. And then this just kind of, as my understanding, was just kind of snuck up on everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one expected this movie to be the hit that it was.
Yeah, I know. His
acceptance speech, by the way, is so like heartfelt and good feels.
I need to watch that. Like that year, where the actor winners were Ke Huy Quan and Brendan Fraser, gave me like faith again in humanity. I was like, yes, fuck yes, yeah, I love that.
Dude,
just to let people kind of.
Is this James Hong's last movie?
Potentially.
Oh, is he still with us? I don't have a death date on IMDb for him.
Yeah.
I thought he passed away last year for some reason.
Wow, he was born in 1929.
That's why I thought he passed away last year.
Yeah.
It is 2024. He's like 5 years away from being 100.
So the vibes around this movie, I feel like it's going to be like in our wheelhouse.
It seems like Loki season 2, right?
I have specifically not seen any trailers for it because it just seemed like one of those types, like you mentioned, it being kind of like a dark horse movie where I think going in, my impression of it was the less you know, the better. So I'm going in like really blind. I got to see the movie that got Ke Huy Quan a fucking Oscar. So we're covering that.
I love him. I love Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Lee Curtis. James Hong.
Jamie Lee Curtis also won Best Supporting Actress for this movie, so they both got Oscars for this.
Dude,
pretty cool.
I always liked her. I don't always like what she's in, but I've always really liked her. I've always thought she's really good. In my opinion, she can do whatever she wants after Knives Out.
Right.
Like, I understand she's had other breakout performances, in other movies. But my God, her character in Knives Out, you love to hate her.
She's so fucking good in that movie. I know that's like a hot take. Oh, Knives Out had a good performance. Who would have fucking guessed that?
Oh, dude. Yeah, but she can. Everyone in Knives Out can kind of do whatever they want.
Agreed.
In my opinion.
So you can catch Everything Everywhere All at Once on subscriptions under Netflix, Paramount Plus, and Showtime.
What I've heard about this movie is not what I thought it was. So yeah, I'm getting kind of excited. I was explicitly like, I think I'll pass based on just everything I had kind of heard. It didn't sound like it was for me, but this trailer's playing on mute. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in blind, so I don't know anything about it. But if you don't have those subscription services, it's also available for rent on your usual suspects like Apple and Amazon and everything. So there you have it. That's what we're covering. I'm excited. I've been wanting to watch that for a long time and just hadn't gotten around to it, but I'm excited.
Jeff, this is kind of your first friends and family pick, right? I mean, it's a Dark Horse movie neither one of us has ever seen, and it's the last one we're doing before we move into Friends and Family Month.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like I've been doing this pretty consistently, like using the podcast as a way to finally get around to fucking watching shit.
Hey, that's playing shit is what I did with my Twitch channel.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I hadn't played this yet. I bought it 10 years ago. I might as well start now.
Might as well start now. Like that's one of the things. It's like
because everything is content.
I got 1,000 movies I need to watch, and it's sometimes the hardest thing is to just like find time and the motivation to try something new. So like anytime you can find an excuse to check out something new that's been on your short list, like fucking do it, because it is tough. Because like I often will find myself kind of like reverting back to something I'm familiar with when there's so much new shit I need to watch. Like I really gotta check it out, and I like stumbling upon stuff I'm not familiar with. As much as it is fun to revisit stuff, it's also cool to find something new that you really like.
I think right now, kind of quote unquote post pandemic and everything happening in America politically and stuff, it's really easy to fall into comfort stuff right now. Like,
yeah,
I've been playing a lot more Subnautica. I've been watching a lot more Indiana Jones. Like, you know, I don't know. I've been kind of steering clear of a lot of new stuff. Just because I'm like, I don't know. I don't want it. I just kind of want to stick with this thing over here and just kind of ignore the world for a little bit.
Totally makes sense. But like specifically with like movies and TV shows and stuff, I am a junkie for seeking out new stuff because I constantly trying to find new stuff to watch, which is weird because I'm the exact opposite when it comes to video games. I'm just like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to fucking play that. It's like, no. But movies, I was like, oh yeah, let's check out this new thing. So I don't know. That's just like the way my brain works. But I'm excited to check this out finally. So. And the last thing is like, Ron, you mentioned some of your Subnautica stuff. Where can people find you when you're not recording podcasts for Screenplay Rewind?
Oh, you can find me on all the things as Ronson's TV. I'm on YouTube, Twitch, and X.
God damn it. The one social media thing I liked did get ruined by Elon Musk. It's fucking irritating, dude.
I know.
Sad.
But yeah, I play video games. I stream video games. It's all terrible. You should check it out.
It's all terrible. You should check it out. It is the greatest tagline.
If I ever have a hat, that's what it's gonna say. It's all terrible.
No, I feel like we both need to get overpromise, underdeliver hats.
Yes.
Or maybe that's our shirt, and then the other thing is the hat. I feel like we could rock them both.
My dream is to get big enough to like do a talk at an event, and that is our official logo on the merch that we have.
Fuck yeah!
It's just the Screenplay Rewind logo, and then overpromise and underdeliver
with the logo of the Komodo-rito from your Twitch chat.
I forgot about that. Oh man!
And 3 people understood that reference in the world. So there. And
it was you, me, and Bobby, our executive producer.
It was you, me, and Bobby. Yeah. There you have it. All right. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun talking about Free Fire. Check it out. It's fucking awesome. Love that movie. Yeah. Thanks for having it on the show. It's fun to revisit it.
Yeah. It's what I'm here for, to revisit the old movies while you bring in the new ones.
Oh man, nothing wrong with that.
If we've established
Actually,
nothing else,
I feel like you picked something that was like us going in blind at some point the last few months. I feel like there was something. I don't know, I'm blanking.
Yeah, probably.
We like for a second where you couldn't remember we'd covered Knives Out. That's all of our podcast for me. I don't.
I mean, we've reached the point that we've covered so much anyway.
Yeah, we're on. This is what 93. So I feel like we have a bit of an excuse. Like that's understandable. Like when you can't remember everything you've covered.
Was it Underwater? No,
I think so.
I had watched it once. What did I bring in?
There's something that you've had on there. I can't recall. I swear that you've had something on there that neither one of us had seen, but we will figure it out.
Scrolling through as we speak,
and if not, that's okay too, because we've had some pretty good stuff on here. Every now and then, most of the time it's terrible, but every now and then it's pretty good stuff.
Was it Prey? I bet it was Prey.
I picked Prey.
You picked Prey. God damn it! I don't know. Fuck if I know, man.
No worries. It makes for a good mix of we have like a classic that we both like, and then like a new thing to check out. So
we need to get Deadpool 2 on here before Deadpool 3 comes out.
Yeah, we do, and then we gotta pick Deadpool 3 immediately, so we have an excuse to go like $5 Tuesday or something because I want to see Deadpool 3. Did you watch that trailer yet?
No, I don't need to.
Are you going in blind?
I'm going in blind.
I typically go in blind, but I had to watch that trailer. It's a fucking great trailer. I'm so excited for that movie.
Dude. Okay, here's what we're going to sign off with. Do you remember we did 2 parts on Lockout?
Well, we recorded one part of Lockout that turned out to be like 5 hours of material for no reason. How did we talk about Lockout for 4 hours? How did that happen?
We talked about Lockout for 2.5 hours.
And then we saw the recording time for it. We're like, no one's gonna fucking listen to this shit. Break it up into 2 parts.
Like 90 minutes or something.
I don't even think it's that. I think it might be under 90, dude. I think it might be like 87 minutes, and we talked about it for fucking 87 hours. Jesus. All right, yeah. On that note.
It is an hour and 35 minutes, so it's 95 minutes, and we talked about it for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
And there was probably more that got cut. I don't know. We gotta have like a Patreon with like the uncut edition that's like 6 hours of Lockout talk for no reason.
What the fuck is wrong with us?
I don't know.
Oh, that's the funniest thing I've seen all day. Oh shit.
Okay, we gotta get the fuck out of here before we turn this into a part 1 and part 2 situation. So have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening. Jesus.
This is the most all over the place episode we've done, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty all over the place, but I'm okay with that.
Well, I mean, when the movie speaks for itself, you know?
Yeah.